can't do
that.
You know, right into her brown eye.
Brown eye.
Does that sound like, what is that guy, Norm Macdonald?
Right into her brown eye.
Who's Norm Macdonald?
Is that him?
You would know him if you saw him, Steve.
Yes,
Norm Macdonald. Should I look him up?
Yeah, look him up.
Actor, comedian.
Jamie, look that up. Right into his brown eye. Right into her brown
Who the
eye.
fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Let me see. Maybe I'm thinking of a wrong guy. Right into his brown eye. Yeah. Is he dead?
I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah, he died.
Oh,
Within the
okay.
last year, he died.
Oh, that's too bad.
The old photos of him. Yeah.
Right into her brown eye. I don't know. I can't. That doesn't really work.
Are we recording?
Yeah, we're recording.
You guys know. I feel like you guys have to understand at this point. The clock is ticking.
Welcome to Hive Scum.
Eventually,
Welcome
I'm just
to
not
Hive
going to
Scum.
have anything to say. I'm
Welcome
just
to Hive
gonna,
Scum. The podcast for the
New
28
millennium.
community.
Yeah,
The 28th
28th
millennium.
Yes, the
Grim and
28th
gritty
millennium.
28th community.
Yes, the 28th community.
Yeah. The first 27, we don't talk about
They're
them.
failures. We're all about the 28th community. Yeah. What is it normally? The 28, just 28 community.
28th
28th community.
The
Hey.
54. Get out of here.
Yeah.
54.
32, don't fucking want it.
Don't
28.
fucking do
Yeah,
it.
honestly, low key. I feel like Games Workshop is slowly making everything 32.
Everything is 32.
Yeah, they're all 32.
Which is, I mean, I don't mind it because it gives your model
It's close
more room to
enough.
breathe. It's
Easier to paint.
close enough to 30 or to 28.
Yeah.
Makes
easier to
games
paint.
smaller because it's less models. The more
Yep,
32
yep.
bases you got, horde armies get worse. Kind of bullshit.
Oh.
What's your name? Who are you?
My name's Terry. I'm stone.jaw on Instagram.
I'm Steve at South of Heaven.
I'm Gage at No Clear Coat.
And I'm Gage at No Clear Coat.
Well, now we did it. We've gone through what we have to. What do they call prerequisites?
Oh, yeah,
or
yeah.
I don't know. Like we've done what we needed to do. The rest is just it's like
Well,
a
not
playground.
really.
It's like a
You know
playground.
why?
What do you mean?
Because what have you been working on?
Jesus, dude, you got to give
Right
us
off
some
the rip.
time.
No,
dude.
just jump in.
Pressure's
Just
on today.
jump in.
Pressure's on today. Pressure's always on.
I'm tapping the watch right
Ba-na-na-na-na.
now. We're on a time.
Balls
table.
are on your
But
back.
I feel like I
Ba-na-na-na-na-na.
balls on my back, dude. I literally thought that those were the
Let's
lyrics,
see.
You've said that multiple times. I got that from you.
and then you were like, "Laws on my back" is the action. I was like, "Oh, I guess that makes more
Balls
sense."
on my back.
In my head, it's like reverse
Trying to think what-
teabagging.
What position you're in to have the balls on your back?
I can show you right now.
Getting your head.
Do I need to be in a pile driver?
Yeah.
Okay.
Balls
Did you guys
on
ever
my
see
back.
the, what was her name? Mae Young? You're a football. Wow.
May-
Yeah, I love
Mae Young, the
football.
wrestler?
Morkball
Wrestler.
rocks.
When she does the thing with her ass.
You saw that video I sent the other day?
Oh, did you send that? Yeah.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Mae Young is this old like wrestler lady.
Yes, I do. And Mark
Yeah.
Henry and her, they had a thing.
They had a child and it was just a hand.
Yes.
But there's like
Wait.
I don't think they understand biology, but wrestling fans are stupid.
there's so many
They're like,
clips
"This
of
checks
her
out."
just like naked on
Sorry, Rory.
Like in underwear.
Hey, listen, I love
No.
wrestling too, but probably
Oh.
not to the level that Rory loves it.
There's times where it's just like Mae Young exposes her breasts on
That
WWF.
rocks. That's so funny.
but it's
Just
just
this
like
fucked up
90-year-old
grandma.
Yeah, it's like 90-year-old
My
woman.
favorite thing was when the Dudley boys just like
3D'd her.
3D'd her off of like a 50, not literally 50, but like off the side of the stage, I think.
Yeah, I've been watching. Well, I haven't been. I was watching all that wrestling stuff, and that was in there. It's very cool. Wrestling was cool. It's
Wrestling
not cool
was
anymore,
cool.
but it was.
Yeah, the kids still like it. I feel like no matter what, kids will always like WWE.
Well, because it's your first exposure to like cool violence.
Yeah,
That's
Like-
that was the only reason I ever watched
I
it.
liked it in the 90s. I feel like there aren't
This might be
the
whack
gimmicks.
To say.
The gimmicks I feel like aren't cool anymore, or the
all
gimmicks
been
are
done.
too subtle. No, because
played
back
out.
then it was like
There's tax
the
on the
under-
fucking board.
the
Are you kidding me?
The Undertaker was a fucking supernatural
zombie,
guy. You
yeah,
got
yeah.
His weird
Papa
brother.
Shango.
Kane.
Yeah, now it's just different iterations of guys that look like gay porn stars.
I don't know. There's that
Yeah.
guy. Well, he just died, but the guy
They
who
can't
had
all
like the
have
split
personality.
personalities. I don't know. Ruck showed
Mankind?
me it. No, there's a guy recently.
what,
he had the
guy
he wear
with
the
the
fucked
head?
up mask.
Oh
No.
Al
Snow had the head.
Sharpton?
had the head. Yeah, and he was supposed to be.
What do people
crazy.
want?
Head.
Yeah, dude, the signs that say head, we want head. Dude, so sick. Yeah. really capturing lightning in a bottle. I was talking about just like raw, like the Attitude Era, and just how just beautiful of like so many things had to line up for that to just be like, wow, what a great time. It's like Toonami. Toonami is the same thing. Like, just you lined up all of these just like aesthetically weird things into something that was just like new, but still felt
old. Felt like
but
classic,
still
almost.
connected. You know,
Yeah,
it's still
right.
it still felt like it was grounded in something old, but it was something entirely new, and it was just like a weird amalgamation of like, oh, we're gonna take this kind of shit. Adult Swim too also
Yeah.
feels like that. It feels
You know-
totally fresh.
You know that bit about like, it's like a new thing right now where everyone's like, oh, how often does your boyfriend think about the Roman Empire?
Yeah.
You seen that?
No.
That bullshit? Yeah. How often
But I
do
get
you,
it.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire? Because my answer was at least once a week.
Yeah, probably about the same.
No, not that. I mean, I'd go maybe
You're
monthly.
sure? You're sure?
Not
Am
well.
I
Let's talk about
sure?
how.
Anything that encompasses the Roman Empire.
I-
Media,
Am I
movie.
sure?
not-
Maybe, yeah. Maybe I
not
guess
the,
you could make
the
a-
Roman Empire
maybe 2
specifically,
weeks.
but antiquity in general,
Yeah.
every fucking day.
Yeah.
Oh, I
of
mean, I
course.
guess that, like,
But-
something about it.
But
That's
so,
like most of what I think about.
so that for me, like if you ask me about Toonami, it's probably once a day.
You think so? It's just something that
Something-
had something. I do wonder now. I feel like I should track this.
Yeah.
Every time I just make like a little like,
you think about
carve
Master
into my
Shake
wall.
every day.
Every time I think
Master
about
Shake wasn't on
Roman-
Toonami. That was Adult Swim.
I just don't know what I would.
Okay, sorry.
I don't know.
I'm
what I
sorry.
would-
The anime block of adults. That's what
Oh, yeah,
Toonami
yeah.
was, right?
No.
No.
Toonami was after school.
Yeah.
Like
Oh.
5 o'clock.
I thought
Were you-
Toonami was specifically the
There was anime, but
anime block.
I believe
of
it turned
Adult
into
Swim.
that.
Dragon
Oh,
Ball
okay.
Z was like.
Dragon
I mean,
Ball Z
that's
was
like
huge
I
for
watched
Kenshin.
so much.
So I didn't have. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter because
Oh.
cable. No, because it was around probably 2000 when we got cable. Then even then,
Yeah.
It's Channel 29 for me.
yeah.
What was 29?
Channel 29, that's what it was where I lived.
Oh,
Put
just
it to Channel 29. It was
Cartoon Network?
Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, all that
Channel
stuff.
58, Cartoon Network.
Oh,
I
think
wasn't.
mine was.
When
but
I
that
got
was
home
because
from
we
school,
probably
I
were
wasn't
both-
watching
Yeah.
TV. I
that
go
makes
out in
sense.
the woods eating bugs. And
Well, I
shit.
was a loser, so sorry.
That's good. That's good. Kids should eat bugs. They don't eat enough bugs anymore.
It's true.
Back in my day, kids were always eating.
Have you heard about
bugs.
that theory?
What?
The windshield. Oh God. The
Broken window theory?
no, the windshield
Truly.
bugs on a windshield theory or some shit like that. How
I
there's
like
just
this.
when you're driving down the highway now.
Oh, yeah,
there's
yeah.
no more bugs.
Well, that's because the fucking people spray their goddamn dude. It is. There has been a huge global drop in songbirds, just like birds in general, just billions of them.
Yeah.
That's everything.
Oh, I know.
Amphibians have been on the cutting block for a long time.
But like, what do all these fucking things eat? It's like fucking bugs,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You gotta get
Bugs.
rid of bugs.
And, like,
fucking grow up.
People are like, I want to sit on my patio and enjoy it, and I got these fucking mosquitoes that are biting me, and then
Light a
we got to
fucking
get
candle.
Mosquito Joe in here to fucking
Yeah.
blast them all.
Blast my
And they're not
telling
doing
me.
it. Are you? I don't think you're like, you know what I mean? These motherfuckers got to be using just harsh chemicals to kill, like Mosquito Joe.
So the stuff. Well, yeah. I mean, my company literally does the same thing, the mosquito stuff. But
Really?
part of the fucking problem.
yeah, man.
what do you want? I have no marketable skills. So it's funny because pesticides are super regulated, but it does not make it any better. You know what I mean? Like it's very like people want you to come and like spray something and it'll instantly be dead when most of the time the stuff that you spray like it just means like oh the bug just like has to like live in it and be exposed to it for a couple days before it dies. But obviously even then like that's still really bad for the environment.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean?
Yeah, we just want so much. I don't know,
It's
dude.
convenience.
I can
human
go into my
condition,
whole
fuck
theory
it.
on like just people that just don't want to like be uncomfortable at all. It's like the worst thing in the world is just like having to have a mosquito land on you. They will go through so many steps, equally uncomfortable steps, to try and get to a
The other
point
thing
where
too
they
is
don't
that
have
like
to
right
feel
now with
uncomfortable.
the
A
mosquitoes
mosquito
is
bite.
that you have like the media is constantly yelling you like right now in Connecticut like there's been a handful of
Yes.
cases of West Nile again.
Bum, bum, bum.
Every year.
Yeah.
It's every year. It's not new.
So it's like kill.
No,
all
it's
your
not. But it's also
mosquitoes.
just like what all these things are just the result of the sort of like global civilization that we live
Yes.
in. You know what I mean? Like
Totally.
People
it's
gotta
funny
get hard.
learning
It's
like
gonna happen no
comfortable
matter
being
what.
uncomfortable.
so
Yeah,
many of the
That's great.
I tell Haley every winter because I'll leave the thermostat at like 60 degrees or less.
Yeah, you
and
gotta
she
wear
gets
that
really
jacket.
upset because she's like, I don't want to be cold. I'm like, well, wear an extra layer. I
Yeah.
don't know what to tell you. We pay for oil in this house,
Yeah.
and it sucks.
No, I don't know. It's crazy. Things are crazy.
The other thing too is like half of the like bugs I'll see on like a day-to-day basis, like just like pull out like my phone or field guide just to like identify them. Like half of this shit is like invasive, like
Oh yeah.
German yellow jackets, every sort of Asian beetle, like, and that's no matter where you go. Like there's North American bugs in Asia and Europe. It's just like a thing. You know what
There's
I mean?
actually something I was gonna text you guys the other day at work on Wednesday. I didn't do anything, but we watched a bunch of documentaries on like TV. It was, I don't know what channel, I don't know what the show was, but one of the things that played was a look at a guy who smuggled snakes and bugs from other countries to America to sell.
We
in the black
literally
market.
talked about this.
We talked about snakes.
I know
right?
we talked
last
about
episode.
this. Was it
Smuggling
last
bugs
episode?
is
One
real
or two
crazy.
episodes ago.
Yeah,
we talked about smuggling snakes though. Yeah.
Yeah, he would smuggle snakes and like tarantulas, bugs, like anything that he could sell, for
In the
money.
pet trade, yeah.
Yeah, it was fucked up. I watched it. I was like, oh, this makes me think of that time Terry met an exotic fish dealer,
Oh, yeah, which we have talked
which
about.
is all fucked up.
Just
It's-
basement like buckets of fish, like just in these like floating white walled tanks of
fucked
just
up.
like, dude, just
you go pick up a fucking animal from where it is and then just bringing it so they
Yeah.
live in someone's fucking house.
I don't know, man.
I think I'm
Things
going
are
vegan, dude.
weird.
Let's fucking kill these
Dude,
fucking
Yeah,
Vegan
brother, let's go.
Honestly,
Dude, I say all the
right?
time, if I had the wherewithal to prepare food for myself and do things that like were
Work, like
not
extra work.
not yeah, if I had the capacity to do that stuff, I'd be vegan in like a second.
Yeah. Vegan for the animals.
But dude, Wendy's like 5 for $5. What am I?
Yeah.
Stable.
Yeah.
I will say that is like the only thing that ever gets me, which is convenience.
Would you
Yeah.
say Wendy's is your favorite fast food?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, easily.
it's pretty.
It's
good.
the only fast food, at least around here, the only fast food place that has like salads, so I can
Oh yeah.
You don't
I
like-
can reasonably eat like a vegetables.
Did you hear that Wendy's in all the places? I think it's September 28th or September 18th. They're doing 10-cent cheeseburgers.
What?
Should I stock up?
Yeah, oh
It's
yeah,
like a trailer park.
They must
toy
put a limit on it,
Dirty
on how
knows?
many you can get.
I don't know.
I'll go in there with a
I got
damn
that one.
Benjamin. And
You got me.
was that going to be a 1,000 cheeseburgers? I like 1,000 cheeseburgers, please.
You have to ring out individually every time to take advantage of the coupon.
Oh my god.
Oh no!
Listen, I'll stand here all day.
The dirty burger. That's for my boy Human Fly out there. He knows, He's got my trailer
Oh,
park
fuck, you know what?
references.
What?
I believe there's a pumpkin spice frosty. I'm going to Wendy's after this.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Pumpkin spice.
Dude, I had my favorite.
Are you going to the Battle Standard after?
Are you guys doing it?
I don't know.
That's
we
up to
might.
you. I'm gonna hobby whether it's at home.
I
or
brought stuff to
wherever.
hobby, but I also
Yeah.
brought shit to play.
I still gotta swing by my parents' house quickly after this anyway, just because it's on the way. I want to give
Yeah.
them some money.
Yeah. Get him frosty. Bring him.
Get-
Yeah,
Get
bring
my
him a
Frosty.
pumpkin spice frosty.
Dude, would be sick.
I don't know if they'll want that.
Gage is flipping us off.
He's
With
pissed.
both fingers. He's so pissed talking about what are we talking
Itching
about?
my eyeballs.
We're
See
not
now,
ta-
Gage.
What have you been up to, dude?
Yes, now see, it was all
There
part
we
of my
go.
plan. I was like, we got to talk about something before we talk about
What's
hobby
this
stuff.
podcast
You know what
about?
I mean? I don't know. We got to talk about fucking pumpkin
What have you been
spice
hobbying?
frosties.
Or what have you been watching? What have you been listening to? What are you
I
doing?
have been. I've been waiting for this to thank you. I have been doing the Simpso Shield Slam. I've been
Oh.
fucking sculpting, motherfucker.
Sponsored by In Rust We Trust and Tanner Simso.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and big shout out to big boy Game Time for doing.
Also
the-
fellow judge and flyer
Yeah.
maker.
This is awesome.
Dude, it's just like there's so
Take a
much
photo
fun.
of
You
these.
see it?
Take a photo of these.
Then that was the first one I made, and like they just keep getting better the more I'm doing it, and like they get faster.
This is
Sorry,
like real Green Knight.
Oh hell yeah.
they get faster every time I do them, and they get more fun. And you know what? It's like I I started sculpting, you know what I mean, like a long time ago, or like when I got back into this hobby, I started messing with green stuff and trying to sculpt with it. I got to like a semi-competent point where it's like I could kind of control the material in a way that I wanted to.
How?
See this, I like this one the most, but do you think that the seashell is cheating?
I don't care. I mean, like that's the thing. It's like that probably won't be my final.
Oh, because you
it'll
can
just
only
be-
enter one, right?
Well,
You can enter as many as you want.
Here, if you don't want that seashell one, I'll mount down an ogre.
No, it's sick. No,
Maybe.
it's cool. It is the coolest looking, but if it's most of the shield is just a product of goddamn Mother Nature and not...
Oh no!
and the other one, I'm just going to do eyes. So,
This is my. I don't know how you did the little bumps on the wrinkles, but that is so sick.
I did that. This is like a weird technique, but Golden makes this thing called modeling paste. It's essentially liquid green stuff, except it dries way more. It doesn't shrink as much. It dries kind of true-ish. And so I put it into a plastic bag. You know how they do cake shit? Where they have the plastic squeeze bag?
Yeah.
I put that into just like a random piece of plastic garbage and put a little dollop of that and then squeeze it up tight. And then I use that and poke a little hole and just do like little spikes on things.
It looks awesome.
But so I've been doing it. Like I said, a while ago, I had gotten myself up to a semi-competent point in green stuff sculpting, and then just like stopped doing it. And so when I first started my first sculpt or first shield, which is the one that you actually like, it took me so long. I was like fucking up, which you have to do, you know, to learn any new skill. It's like you got to just like embrace that you're going to fuck it up, or embrace that it's going to take you like a very long time to get it. But then it's like it came back to me kind of quickly, and I kept just plugging along with these little sculptures and figuring out like, oh, what if I try this? Oh, what if I try this? And it reminded me of when I first started or first got back into model painting in general.
Mm-hmm.
Just like there's so many different directions I can take, and there's
Right,
so many
right.
different techniques I can try out. And now I'm very amped to make sculpting more involved in my hobby in general.
Yep,
And I was
yep.
like, fuck, okay, I'm going to wait until, you know, Gage is here, and also shout out, you know, Simso Miniatures, Tanner, like doing this again, it has opened up a door to an entire side of this hobby that I knew was there and I had engaged with previously, but now I feel like, oh fuck, I can sculpt like a face
Congratulations.
on a model.
Now you understand. You won. You get why we did the contest.
It's like such a good idea, and now I just like want to keep going, and I do keep going, and then like I keep experimenting. I was making little tools out of popsicle sticks because on this one, like the little ridges in the what looked like feathers.
Yep.
I figured this guy kind of looks like a bee. Also, he's got like a weird tongue or whatever.
I like that guy a lot.
Yeah, me
Night
too.
Shield.
But like those little ridges were so easy to make because I cut a popsicle stick to a point, and I was
Yep.
like, oh shit, okay, what if I paint? What if I cut another thing?
Right.
I did that with a pen. Like, you know how like mechanical pencils have a wicked
totally,
small
yeah.
rivet spot? That like I used it to punch holes kind of and like make little rivets on green stuff.
And that was like mind blowing because a while ago I wanted to make my creations. I wanted to sculpt more, and I wanted to make them like similar in aesthetic in a way to like Geiger shit, Geiger. So I wanted to like have like repeating things over and over again, use a lot of like textured things, more rounded textures to make it look like more biomorphic, or just that it had a lot going on visually.
Right.
And I was like, oh shit, I can totally like create my own little custom tools or use things like a mechanical pencil to like
this is
repeat
great.
patterns over and over again.
Right.
And get that kind of level of textural repetition that I want
That you
in
want
this.
in front.
And I was like, fuck, I forgot about that. I forgot I wanted it until I started doing this.
Yeah.
And then I got excited from doing this to be like, okay, now how can I push this further?
Right.
And there's that last shield that will eventually, like the 4 dots will be eyes in there. Yeah, I think it's that one. But
This
that
is crazy.
yeah,
looking.
that's just this done over and over again. And it kind of lost a little bit of the effect, but still when you look at it, you can still see visually that
Right.
that same print is done over
very
and over again.
very. It's like almost like a carapace. You put some
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah.
in it, very like.
Yeah, so those middle parts will all be like eyes. And I
A
don't know if
little
I'll do
bead
that
in
with
there.
like beads or if I'll like actually sculpt it in there.
Well, and kind of what point you were saying before the pod, where like not that like this is intro to sculpting for people, but like the whole point is to just do it. Just get out there and do it.
Flex some muscles.
Because I saw Bits Bib Orcs, Brad, and Tyler, Planet Piss, doing they were doing it themselves.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I want to get in on this, and I want other people to break that barrier of permission to do it. But then, like what you were saying, now you have these skills, you want to flex it a little harder, then you go into the Hill Giant Games competition where you're sculpting a giant.
Yeah,
It's a
and
totally
that's
different set of...
little bit of the plan where I'm going to take these skills and push it further, but I won't get too far into
No,
that
I
'cause
mean,
the
but
idea is
that's
still-
the point. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
is the best thing about this community, where you're just like, oh, this silly little conversation that Tanner and I had over Discord.
Yeah.
7 messages later, Steven goes, I want to make a flyer, and we go, cool. And now we have 25 entries before there's still a month left.
Yeah. And it's like I'm hyped. Like I'm
There's
going
a
to keep
month
making
left?
these
It's
shields.
the end of the month. Oh, I don't know when this is going live, but
Probably be
Yeah.
fucking over by the time this
Yeah,
goes
probably.
out.
yeah. To give you a peek behind the curtain.
Yo,
we're
thanks for checking out the Simpso Shield Slam, guys.
we're about like what 2 weeks ahead or something
Yeah.
like this of
we're being
of
like,
recording and
like proactive.
Productive.
yeah, we're doing okay. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna just keep. Oh, but what I was gonna say is, I was feeling last episode or the episode before that my hobby was kind of directionless. I was just sort of painting things in
Right,
front of
right.
me, which I think is fine for learning skills, like just putting paint on mini, whatever is in front of you. But I was having trouble finding direction, and I found that originally through like figuring out like army projects, painting zombies, and then also doing this night haunt, which are still moving. I'm still doing that, but now I'm like, oh fuck. Now a whole nother facet to my hobby making could be slowing down, taking like kit bashing to the level of maybe not like
You're not doing it on zombies. Stop tricking yourself.
no, but maybe like not to the level that like Pax Acrylica or Pax Acrylica is
Right,
doing those things, but at least like customizing my kit bashes,
Having
to
a
the
vision
point,
for what you want, and then
Exactly.
and creating a little extra for
doing
it.
something like new where people are
Trigger
like, oh,
off,
how do you do
finger
that?
off the trigger.
Yeah.
On all your models.
Yes. Yeah. Safety always off. Shout out Human Fly for that one too. Yeah. So I don't know. Just very stoked on it, and like I've been kind of holding back to tell you, but like what an opening experience this has been just to fuck around with green stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, I sucked. The first one I didn't suck, but it took a long time to get
Right.
the effect that I was going for and to kind of like craft, you know what I mean, just sculpt those little things in. And now the B one or whatever, that took me 15 minutes. I was just like fucking around.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I have
That one
this
fucking
random
rules.
shield and it rocks. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow, this is probably my best one. It took me the smallest amount of time. So I'm like, okay, where do I take this from here?
Right.
And I'm like, and then especially doing these little sculpting tools and then repeating those patterns over and over again, I'm like, oh shit, okay. So now when I'm thinking about next time about creating a fur cloak or somehow connecting this fucking weird eagle head to a
Yeah.
dog or
Yeah.
something to make like a griffin, right?
Yeah.
Some shit like that. I don't know.
Griffhound.
Griffhound kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to fucking hack two things together. To connect those points, I can think of another tool that will give me the texture that
right.
I want over and over again.
A quick aside from what you were saying, because it just reminded me of something. I don't remember where. I think it was in the Discord, the Inrust Discord. But a second ago, when you said when I tried this and I sucked, I think I'm totally just gonna paraphrase this, but it was whenever you think you suck at something, it doesn't actually mean that. It's you not getting to the level of what you think it should be in your mind.
Yeah.
Not in like a whoa bro kind of like armchair philosopher type of way of saying
No,
that, but
dude.
like the first time you're sculpting, when you're pushing from the right side and you expect it to kind of go a certain way,
Yeah.
and it's just not. And then you're like, oh well, I suck at this, and it's just like, no, it's you learning those tools. So
Yes.
in like anytime you think you suck at something, it's just realizing that you just haven't gotten used to the tools yet.
Yes.
And
So much of learning is just that, like
Right,
getting
right.
beyond the step where you suck at it because you're going to suck.
Yeah,
Whether it's riding a bike or fucking playing
right,
baseball.
yeah, it's not
like,
as black and white as you going, oh, I'm just bad and that's it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you have to learn the tool first before you can get to the level where this is what I would like to do and this is how it comes across in my brain.
And knowing that going into any creative thing or anything in general in life, knowing that you're going to be quote unquote trash at it before you get good at it, and embracing the idea that it's like, okay,
Right.
even in my trash state, I can still try and figure it out, and embracing that like level of incompetence, I guess.
Yeah.
You'll learn faster, quicker if
Yep.
you're just like, okay, cool, like I suck, but I'm ready to move on to the next thing because now I know how to do it.
Exactly.
You know, I don't know,
Yeah.
twice as good or some shit. Yeah. So that's what I've been working on,
Yeah.
among like other random shit. But this has like been kind of the main thing is learning to sculpt and fucking around with cool tools.
Speaking of cool tools, what have you been working on, Phil?
Nice.
Nothing.
Nice.
How about you?
You haven't done anything.
You haven't done anything.
A
Since the
single
last time we
thing?
recorded? No. I worked 58 hours this week.
That's
That's
so
impressive.
stupid.
That's impressive. Big paycheck. What are you gonna do with all that money?
Buy models.
Buy models.
Pay my bills.
Buy a set of studio monitors.
Oh,
Yeah, I could buy some studio monitors.
Yeah, he's wearing still the crummiest pair of headphones as his fucking.
Yeah.
Everybody else has sick fucking earmuff ass looking shit.
Dude, I'm getting a massage from mine right now.
Yeah, yeah.
These are fine. I don't know what the big deal is.
I don't know. I
It's
can't.
the short. It's the short cable.
Yeah, yeah. You don't get access to the.
You
Oh,
have
okay.
to sit there.
Gage and Steve rolled off for my comfy desk chair, and Steve
Oh,
won,
got
so
you,
he's
got
got the
you.
comfy desk chair. Phil was not part of. the
I've never had a
competition.
comfy chair, no matter where
That's
we're recording.
literally
so- I know.
not true. That is literally not true. Because
What are
at
you
my
talking about?
house, I've let you use the big comfy chair.
Damn.
Have you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I
Damn.
didn't think it was very comfy.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Shots
I
fired.
got a bad back. What do you want from me?
I'm gonna get you a pile of newspaper to sit on next time.
I'll stand.
It'd be kind of
Dude, I-
sick to do a sit-stand desk
Hold
for
on.
Yeah.
recording.
Like a little
Should I just record like this for the rest of the episode?
It would be.
You should
insane.
try it.
You think I should?
Yeah.
He's just standing.
Maybe I'll
up.
pay attention to the conversation more if I'm doing this.
It
Maybe.
might. Then you're active.
It would be funny to see how long. We'll set the timer now. See how long Phil stays with
Right,
it.
I'm currently standing and holding the microphone like
Yeah.
I'm.
Set
like
that
I'm,
time. Gage, set the timer.
Like he's
All right,
at a
stopwatch is
church.
going.
Okay.
We're not going to let you see it, though.
I'm not actually worried about you sitting down. I'm worried about the microphone slowly moving away from your face.
He's
as you
holding
have
it
to,
like way
hold
out
it.
here.
Well, I got my hand, my forearms are resting on my tits.
Yeah. No, it does look pretty comfortable. At
Yeah.
least at
You
times.
feel okay?
Yeah, I feel fine.
Your
All right, let's
forearms are
move
gonna
on.
be
Let's
huge.
see how long it goes. All right,
Okay.
Gage, what have you been working on? Because Phil's got nothing for us.
My Genestealers. I've been bashing some neophytes. I've been loving it. They're
Dude.
so sick. They're so fun.
The vehicles you're doing are amazing.
I cannot believe. So I got an Elysian Drop Trooper Tauros Venenator, I think it's called. I might
Venerator.
be Sure,
Venerator.
Venominator. I'm whatever it is.
It's the Warthog from Halo.
Yeah, a little like but lower.
Oh.
but lower.
Now, is that an
Getting
actual
slammed.
model?
Yeah, it's an old Forge World model.
Okay.
They're these sick Imperial Guard like jetpack guys, the Elysian Drop Troopers.
ODST from
Yeah.
Halo. They
But-
look fucking tight.
Oh, but the
Steve, hold on, Steve. Not everything's from Halo.
Yes,
okay?
it is. Where do you think Halo got the idea?
Halo. Halo thought it from Halo. Everything's from Halo.
now we talked about
You
this.
clearly weren't an Xbox guy.
I was, but I played Morrowind.
I
don't know.
also played more.
You don't know anything
I played
about
a lot of
Halo
Halo.
culture.
No, I don't. I beat all the campaigns and it was cool. That was it.
I never.
And I played Blood
well, I
Gulch
played
and that was
that. We talked about that.
Yeah,
I think
I
we
know.
talked about it in Patreon episode.
But yes, no, that is an official model. And then the tank that I'm going to be using for some weird, I don't know. I'm going to kind of magnetize it so I can use it for multiple things. Is the Ramshackle, one of his tanks.
His
Oh,
tanks
that's
rock.
what that is?
They are
Curtis
so
has
heavy.
Curtis has the craziest collection of tanks. And
You should go over to Ramshackle Studios and pick up a tank for yourself.
Yeah, not
that what it
sponsored.
Go there,
Not
drive
sponsored.
there.
Not sponsored. We just love him.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, drive to Ramshackle Studios.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drive there across the ocean.
That's what it is. Ramshackle Studios, like .com.
Ramshackle Games.
Ramshackle. That's what I
Yeah.
thought. Okay.
Ramshackle Enterprises.
I want those bikes. Kind of. Those are fucking sick.
Good
Yeah.
deal, too.
So the
Yeah.
jet bikes,
Yes.
that's what I'm using for my
saw.
Jackals. They're very sick. My only problem is, so I love the big block engine from
Totally.
like Ray's Speeder from episode 7, I think, Star Wars people. But the back end of the bike, I want a little more military-esque.
Fuck is episode 7?
The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Tell me I didn't get that fucking right. Tell me I didn't get that fucking.
I don't think it's The Last Jedi. The Last
on,
Jedi
dude.
is episode 8.
Or it could be
I
The
think.
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens is
Fuck,
pretty
come
sure
on.
almost.
Oh, I got really
Embarrassing.
amped. Well, what can you do?
Yeah.
Loser.
Listen,
Yeah,
it was
it's
a
alright.
fucking pull for
Gage,
me.
pull it up.
Yeah.
Is
Pull
it?
up what movie
it's not
that
The
was.
Last Jedi?
Force Awakens is fucking shit. My phone is crashing.
I cried a couple times when I saw that movie.
2015.
Which one?
The number 7.
Number 7?
Yeah.
After so
I-
long.
It's Force Awakens.
Almost don't remember it.
That's
I remember, wasn't Luke on an island? I did see that one.
that was the end of the movie.
Yeah, and he was
Yeah,
chugging milk.
Oh, dude, the blue milk mode.
I think that that's what he was doing on the island, but that scene I believe is from episode 8, The Last Jedi.
The
not
milk
milk
thing is,
chugging?
yes.
Yeah, the milk.
I've
the milk
only
thing.
I've seen all the other Star Wars multiple times. Those ones I've seen once and went, yep.
Yeah, I never even saw the 9th one. I don't really care.
That one was pretty crazy. Anyway, this is a totally different podcast. But
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Star Wars
listen-
almost ever.
Listen
Ever.
to our
Yeah.
other podcast,
Yeah, our
Star
other-
Wars-based
yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, it's called
I'm not on that one.
Outer Rim Scum.
Yeah.
Outer Rim job.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the one.
Yes.
But so neophytes though,
Mhm.
I've been using some of the Elysian Droptrooper bodies, which
Yeah.
are just like a little more military guard kind of guys, like SWAT Cadians,
Swacadians.
Swacadians, but also just using the GSE bodies normally, and then just throwing on random fucking shit.
Yeah.
And they're just so fun to make. So
They look great.
my list is going to be a little more infantry heavy, but I've been making a lot of aberrants too. Do you remember the old Chaos Mutant that has the split head? It's like two heads
Yes.
in one.
Like
Yes.
stretched
It's
apart,
very
kind
Yeah, I think
big
so.
idiot head. Yeah. So that's like I'm using that for some of my aberrants. So they just look like real stupid, big, created
Oh,
in a
yeah.
lab guy. But
I know Gage has seen it.
what?
I just showed Terry.
Yeah, I've seen that. Luke milking Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren.
yeah.
Blue milk.
Nice.
Kylo Ren, kind of a letdown of a character.
Kylo Ren.
I
bad?
expected so much from that. And
Because
I got
who's that
nothing
guy?
out of
Adam
it.
Driver, right? That's
Yeah.
the guy's name. He's great. I think he's
He's
really
an
good.
excellent actor.
Yeah, and I think he's got like an interesting face, and he's got a cool persona, and he's got just
It went
great way
nowhere.
of delivering things. And then they just kind of made him like just like a crybaby sort of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just too bad because he
That's
could.
what all bad guys are, is freaking crybabies.
Well, I mean, true to a certain degree, but they don't have to. They can be tough too.
Anyway, you're cool
He was
jackals and
tough,
tanks.
But I guess.
Yeah. Cool jackals. Almost done. I just got to figure out what I'm doing, like the back end of them.
It's funny, you had a bit that has wound up in my bits box, and it's that front end of a fucking speeder bike that looks really industrial.
From Ramshackle.
I don't know who it's from, but
The
The rectangle one.
yeah, it's yellow
It's
resin.
a huge fucking.
It's a big jet engine on the front with a seat, and then the end is just not there. There's no back end of it.
That's cool.
I don't know if it's.
It is very sick.
Zamboni style ass jet bike.
Kinda.
Just a big ass
So
front
it's
it's
end.
never
like-
used a yellow resin.
Little seat, big jet engine in the front,
Yeah.
and then the back end has nothing. And I've tried kit bashing it like 10 times. I can never figure it out, but
yeah.
sitting here wondering.
No, I think I'm going to cut the front. Speaking of jet bikes.
Oh, that's a 3D printed bit.
Is it?
Yeah, because I used that originally. Okay, so it's the one I did on my original speeder.
Okay.
That I made for your contest, the Wasteland.
Is it? It's more rounded than the one you ended up using, I think.
Yeah, because that was one of the ones I didn't use.
Okay.
I think, and it's actually like the one I used is supposed to be the back end of a bike, but I made it the front because I just love that big like Cadillac
square,
front
yeah.
fucking radiator thing.
Cadillac
rocks.
front.
Yeah, and then I think that one is also supposed to be the butt of one. But
Oh.
if you reverse the seat on it, it just looks fucking sick. Like,
Yeah. I was
Dude.
going to use it as a
Love
front
kit
end, but it's
bashing.
Yeah.
fucking
What were you
sick.
gonna say, dude? Kit bashing, cool.
I'm going to cut the fronts, the rounded. Not that I mind the rounded speeder fronts of the Eldar ships. Were those Dark Eldar or regular Eldar?
Regular Eldar.
But we found a bunch of them in the Bitsbin at the Battle Standard.
Still more.
I think there's actually. I think somebody else. Anyways, I think maybe Tyler bought the last ones that were in there. There's probably some more that are kind of busted up, but I think I'm going to cut off the sort of curved end in the front, even though I think that sort of looks cool. But then I'm just going to stick like you had done for your cool fucking shuttle. that's just like a floss container or something like that.
Oh, the little fucking like
The little drone.
Yeah, the little drone thing.
I'm going to do something like that for the front that's a
One-seater?
little bit more squared off, like
Yeah.
the Ramshackle Games ones.
That's sick.
I don't know. I'm going to figure it out, but I think that'll be fun because the back end, the like little banana seat that they sit on, I'm like, this is all looks very.
Well,
you could slot that.
I have a
in.
ton of those
That-
separate if you ever need.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That front end, the like triangle, like smooth part,
Yep.
that pops off, and then it's just like a stick underneath that it attaches to. So you could probably pop that off and just
Oh shit!
little snip.
And then I could use those maybe for something else. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
Just some thoughts, you know.
Yeah, some thoughts.
Some thoughts. Speaking of some thoughts, Steve, what have you been working on?
What are you thinking about?
What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about?
Yeah,
What are you thinking about?
What are you thinking about right now?
What's going on?
Should I tell
Brain?
him? No. I've been painting nothing.
That's literally
That's
a
not
lie.
true.
You told us
I know,
23
but I
minutes
know.
ago
Yes.
about what you were painting.
Yeah, and we said, don't tell us, save it for the pod. You said, nobody wants to hear that.
I'm-
And it's literally a segment of the show.
Yeah. I keep like trying new painting techniques and being like, I should try this, or I could get this effect. It's fucking stupid. It's bullshit.
No,
go
that's
back to
good.
fucking no. Go to ground zero.
It rocks
Go
when
back.
you're learning.
I don't
Yeah,
want to
you
learn.
Pick your own
I
style.
like my style that
you
I
have a style. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was trying to branch out from that and try new things, and I realized it's futile. There's no reason to do it. My style is sick the way it is. I like it. It's
Yeah.
easy. It works. I don't fucking hurt my brain trying to make my
No,
whole
I know.
army look cohesive, trying new things,
Yes.
and then I just do it. Everything looks cool, and then I'm happy with it. Which I'm just going to go and do that for
Yeah.
everything that I want a big army of, because that, like, where I should branch out and try new things is small skirmish squads, not a
True.
fucking army.
Whoa, yeah. That's true. However, I do think eventually, like, things just come up. Like what we were saying before, it's like 9 out of 10 stuff that I think anybody tries, is just like, it's like, well, this didn't really work out the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
But there'll be like one of those 10 things that you're like, like literally like rattling grime. And it's just like, oh, this is the coolest product I've
Yeah.
ever used, or whatever it is. And then you'll be like, now that's just forever going to be part of my regular painting process. Or oil washes was for me. Like, I'm like, well, now I can just not do, or whatever it is, I don't know.
So Adam, Doom and Apathy, has been doing like a chromatic 3-color prime. Have you seen that?
Oh, yes. And I was messaging him about the orc because he was shouting me out for giving him that little gun
Yeah.
bit, that like big slugger. I don't know how he got it so smooth.
It looks so good.
It's so smooth.
Like, you could paint the rim of that. You could paint the base of whatever color you want. Rim the base. Done. Model is money.
They're so good. The Doom and Apathy
Chromatic
like,
prime.
where he's doing like red. I imagine I didn't see
It's
the
from
colors
the
he was
bottom. It's a
using.
dark. Then you take the opposite of the color wheel down
Yep.
at an angle, and then he dry brushes it with like a white, or we'll give it a zenithal
Okay.
with a white. It's
Yeah,
so good. It's
Maybe
so
that's
easy.
why I've never been able to really get it. Is because I don't really do the darks besides black. I
Yeah.
feel like that's all I really do.
Yeah, he's doing like purple with yellow from the top, or fucking dark green with red. And it just all looks really good.
Is he just using Rust-Oleum spray paint for that? Oh,
Yes.
there they are. That's a really smart
It's so
idea.
cool.
Oh, literally getting like complementary colors, like
Yeah.
the purple and the yellow.
Yes,
Oh, that explains
that's how
why
he
they
does all
look
of it.
so good.
exactly.
Damn.
So that's
Fuck.
been cool. I've been wanting to try that, but
It would
yeah,
be,
I've just been working on
yeah.
my bullshit. I'm starting the chaos back up. I'm gonna rebase all my ogres, because when I
You're keeping the paint job.
no, I'm doing my tried and true rattling grime.
Well,
We're
do it
going
on
with
the new guys you just picked up.
I'm gonna do it on everything.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
but
gonna
start
do it
with
on
the-
everything.
Start with the new guys because you might just be able
Well,
to like
so
figure out a way.
The problem with my old ogres is when I base them, I use like a green stuff roller and put down like cobblestone road, and then I use this flocking that I had that's like, it's like a mix of static grass and some other shit, and it doesn't take paint well. It like looks
Oh, yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
bad, so I kind of wanted to take them
I
all
think
off
I
the
have something
bases,
similar.
put them down on new ones, and just do my tried and true fucking dirt method with super glue.
Sometimes fucking static grass like really drops the fucking ball. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's so good.
Well, it's not meant to be
I
painted.
do
I
not
think.
like static grass.
I'm with you.
There is some that are good. I feel like the longer static grass, I feel like I can paint it. I feel like it looks good. I feel like all these things. I think I have sort of this stuff.
You mean the ones that are like the little?
No, those are good
Tufts?
too. I like those too.
Tufts
They're
are
a little
I like
tough.
tufts. Just straight static grass. Fuck
Bad.
I think if it's longer, it's okay. If
that
it's more of like a
aggressive?
fuzz,
Bad.
it's fine. But like when it's, I have one that's really short. It's like
Stubby.
little, yeah. They're super short, and so when you put it on there, it just like ends up looking like a weird texture, a weird like hair texture. It's all put away.
Yeah.
But
No, I
yeah,
was trying
it
to
just
see if I
doesn't look
had
good.
given you anything that might have had the stuff on it, but there's nothing. But yeah, that's what I'm working on.
You picked up some sick ogres, dude.
Oh, dude, I did pick up some sick ogres.
Steve's ogre army is fucking sick, by the way. But he just added what, like probably another 2,000 points.
How much do you
to it?
think two stone? No, because Knifehead Adam in that box sent me another one. So
Oh
I
my
have three. What are they? Stone Lords,
Stonehorns.
Stone
Oh,
Horns.
those things are so
three
cool,
Stone
too.
Horns and
8 more
12.
Mornfang? Yeah.
12 Mornfangs because it's
That's
six
that's
per box.
definitely over.
Or no, it's
2,000
4
more
per box.
points.
So 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, 8. It must be 8.
And
It's
the
definitely
Mornfang
more than
Grinders
2,000
rock.
points.
But that's
yeah.
just in that box plus all the shit I
Dude.
already had.
There you go.
Sick chaos ogres.
Dude, we could
Fucking
play like a
bliss.
big
Chaos
old
Lords,
game.
just ogres.
Well, it was funny because me and Jacob, because I worked with Jacob the other day, he was just talking about how he wants to get that new thing that Warhammer just leaked, the fucking Titan Trogoth.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
And we were just talking about like the campaign starting
King
back
Trog.
up and getting back into it. He's like, yeah, it's great because like winter's coming, and that's like when I would want to be doing all this because
Yeah,
he
totally.
does other shit. And we were talking about doing like big games and like we could ally during the campaign because we're both
Yes.
destruction. And if we go into the whole like doing factions as a major thing, like for doing a map and stuff like that, like your faction is who controls the map, not necessarily you and your army.
Oh shit! So you're kind of like a gang. Like
Yeah.
you're kind of like trying to pick up little territories, like it's a video game.
Yeah, and you could still fight each other and make your own narrative of why
Yeah.
you're kind of like
Oh,
having
100%.
a
But
fight.
it's sick to be like, oh, look at how much fucking room the destruction
Yes.
alliance is like just slowly taking over, and then it causes. Well, then would I be able to team up with somebody to be like?
Well,
no,
you're
probably not.
death. So do we
Nobody's
have other
teaming
death
up with
players?
death.
No, we have
That's crazy.
one chaos player, one death player, and then a few order players, and
Yeah.
a few destruction players.
Still, I don't care. I'll be the only death player. I get my ass kicked every time. Anyway,
Brandon
so
has
it's fine.
a Chaos Demon army now.
Really?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, he was painting Lord of
What?
Change yesterday.
Where does he
in my
keep
house.
getting all of these armies?
I will say Dakota did step up and
What do you
built
think?
those models.
Internet?
Yeah,
I couldn't
Yeah.
believe that.
Just like buying them from other people. Is he buying used
he
sets?
do love buying armies.
I never see him. He doesn't. I never see any of his painted shit. You know what I mean? I never see any of Brandon's like painted.
He doesn't paint anything.
His demon lords are sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he.
I mean, he's got the airbrush, and I know he
yeah,
does some
yeah.
sick things. I've
He's
seen
doing a
his
very
sick
sick gradient on the
Necrons and stuff.
wings. He's still very GW style, but
I don't care.
not,
I gotta
not
get.
like
discrediting.
contrast in it.
Not
That's-
discrediting whatsoever. It looks great.
I just want to see him.
Yeah.
But I feel like I also haven't played against Brandon in a long time.
I played against Brandon. I fucking
have you ever
crushed
played
him.
against Brandon?
Crushed
I
his
think I
ass.
played as Lizardmen one time, but it was pre-campaign, like when I was using the big Manfred, and I,
Oh,
you know,
hell yeah.
Gotcha.
I won because Manfred is like crazy.
I am hyped though to play the campaign. Like if you want help, like I think we got to read that PDF at some point. Hush hush. But
No, and I
Wink,
think when you had talked about it last time, which like trusting players to develop their own scenario, like you
Yeah.
give them a very
Well, you know,
basic
one or two
ideas.
people that are not gonna participate in like this
Which
sort
it
of
doesn't matter.
this story.
and they
You
don't
know
like
what I mean?
give us your
No,
fucking
yeah.
give us your army name, your HQ's name, like the guy you make, and
Yeah.
then just literally just play the games. It doesn't
Yep.
matter. We'll
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
figure out a narrative for you to
or the people who want to create a narrative, like okay, let's say it's me and you know, what I mean, I'll just Dakota or something, and Dakota like just wants to play, like he doesn't give a fuck about narrative games. Like I can still just develop a narrative, and he can just show up and play.
There you go.
Yes.
And
100%.
it's like that's fine. Nothing
like
wrong with
maybe do like you said, like looking over the missions and just kind of making our own missions like you've been doing,
Yes.
and then have a list of them so it doesn't matter. You don't have to draft a new one for each game. It's just
Yeah,
pick
yeah.
from
It's
the fucking
hammering
list.
hammering out a bunch. I think I have maybe like 3 or 4 that I wrote up, but I'd like to have more. You know,
also be
probably like
nice.
a dozen.
like the cards. Like remember the old cards for like the battle tactics bullshit?
that. Oh yeah, yeah.
Does that exist for AOS?
Yes.
Well, you don't because the cards you draw randomly.
Yeah.
Battle tactics you choose.
They are punch out battle tactics that you get in the new codexes.
Oh, sick. Like you implementing that with the missions, I think is very cool, and it like feels thematic. It feels good to play, and it's not like a one-sided. I'm just going to crush you.
Yeah.
But I think like as what you should try and get to, Phil, is just a thing where it's like you're essentially all you have to do is keep track of who's playing who, but it's less work for you in the background. Because you did a lot of work on the first couple of months when it was like really going.
Yeah.
And a shit ton of work. Like,
probably more than you had to.
A shit ton
I
of
know.
work. Where it's like if you were able to get it to just the point where you're like, okay, who's in? And then you just kind of stick everybody's name into a random pairing generator and be like, you two are playing each other. Like, think of a story. Like, or even giving them like, here's a pre-made Games Workshop scenario. Use that to develop a scenario that's based on your narratives together.
Yeah.
And you know what? If like Dakota doesn't want to come up with that narrative with me, that makes my life easy and easier because I'm just like, okay, I'll come up with the scenario,
This is the
Dakota, and
narrative
I'll get
now.
back to you.
Yeah.
And then I just roll up and I'm like, okay, here's my idea. What do you think? And then Dakota's going to be like, sounds good. Let's play.
Great.
And not care
Now,
about me coming up
do
with
you guys think we should, rebooting the campaign, should we start over so everyone's at square one and we start at like 600 points again? Which I'm totally fine with. I don't care because everyone's getting new books and all this new stuff has happened since then. But no, why?
Because I love where my army's at.
Yeah, but you have
just
a new
rebuild
book.
it up.
I know.
You just
You
build
don't want
it
to
up.
keep that old shit.
I do because greatswords don't exist anymore, and that makes me sad.
Yeah, but you can use them as like, I don't know.
There's
what
other
they're called.
two-hander.
No, I
Just
know.
Use them
I
as
know.
executioners.
No, the narrative of a fucking cool greatsword guy is just too damn cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
all these mad lads swinging their Zweihanders around.
it depends. Yeah, we could kind of like think of the one that we did that Phil was doing all of that work for as sort of a primer or like a pregame kind of thing.
Yeah.
A draft or something. And now it's like, okay, it's transitioning into something a little bit bigger. It's more streamlined for Phil to give people games and more reliant on the players to come up with those. And then, yeah, you start at 600 points, which Gage would give you a chance to be like, okay, now I'm going to try and get this 600 points painted for the tables.
Right. I mean,
by
that
the
was
end of the month.
that was what we started
Originally,
with.
yeah.
I will say it would be sick to actually do a campaign where we play like twice a month, and that after 3 months we do a big game where as many people show up and we do X amount of points each, and we do
I
like
love that.
Just crazy.
yeah,
like
get fucking wild with it.
Yeah. Taking over one of those.
Do a fucking
whole-
siege, like
Yeah.
like one force has a castle.
Whoever's like in the lead, like
Is
let's
the
say it's
attacking force.
destruction, like is taking over so much area, and it's like they're the ones like either with the castle or they're the ones attacking the castle, but it's like all of us.
It's got to be a castle.
It's got to be a
gotta be a
castle.
fucking
It's got to be
castle.
Tyler's castle.
Men only want one thing: it's to siege a castle. Yeah,
So many opportunities.
but yeah, I mean, whatever makes it easier for you, dude. There's nothing worse than like a project. That's like a lot of times with D&D, I feel that way. You put in so much work for so long, and then eventually you're like, "Fuck!" Like,
Does it matter?
this is just so much work. I just don't know. I don't.
They're
have time
doing it
for, like,
wrong.
other
But the
things.
feel like
but
that
the
in D&D.
beauty
I know. Well, it took me a while to learn that.
Right.
the beauty of this though is it's not like a secret. It's we're all doing it. So like Phil,
Yeah,
you
no,
don't
this
have
is
to
a
take
secret.
the burden of
No.
like
No,
running
I know.
everything.
I'm not
we
the
can
one
all
who started
help
the
you.
campaign anyway.
I know.
Totally.
But then you were like, "Oh, I want to do some stuff." And it's like, "All right, well, you take the lead, do it."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're all here to support you
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
it. Like
No, well, the whole idea of like what I want to take over is like, all right, we have people with several different like levels of experience with playing the game. So I'm like, well, I wanted to make missions that were easy enough to understand, for everyone. So that,
Yeah.
like, people that are still trying to understand like how to not just how to play their army, but how to play the game.
yeah.
And to like throw things in like battle tactics or
Yeah.
stuff like that. I'm like, well, I don't know if I feel like that's just gonna make people, I don't know if alienated is the right word, but
Right.
it's,
But we're all
it's throwing
sitting down
too
at the
much.
end of the day and playing a game that we all chose to play. Like
Right.
there is a level of investment on everyone's
Yeah.
part to be playing these games together. Like you do have to read the book a little bit.
Yeah.
Or not, and then
Or
you just
not.
get kind of skipped over, and it's like, okay,
true.
But you don't read the book and you still show up and you still play.
yeah. Yep.
Yep. Going back a second, just because you said something that triggered in my brain, the amount of people that asked for an RPG episode were
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
Which we should do it
We
because
should do it.
we should do like something Halloween based, because by the time we catch up with episodes,
I could
like
do that. I could come up with a little Halloweener invention. And
We could just
session.
play. I mean, we could play Nico's game that I bought. It's literally based on Halloween.
we could do that.
We
It's-
could.
It's what's
I would.
what's the game called?
Well, I would need the book first because I'm not going to go into it
Of
blind.
course.
But it would need to be light enough because I know you motherfuckers can't follow the rules.
Well, you just take the fucking story and you just fucking.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm
you know?
saying system wise, I've got a little bit of, I've got like 4 things in mind. There was an absolute outstanding request for like a Shadowrun / cyberpunk aesthetic. So
Yeah.
We already did it once.
Oh, really?
We just
Yeah.
continue our.
I
fucking
still want to
game.
play like a World of Darkness something because
Me too.
I've
That's
never
what I was
played.
thinking.
that I would love to play off air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, like, sorry, folks.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing with what's it called, Delta Green. Like, I would love for us to just play Delta Green, but then again, that's like something.
That's like just such a different vibe that I would like to, you know what I mean? Like I do this for everyone that I run games
Delta
for.
Green sounds like some kind of like lawn care
It's
product.
X Files.
Yeah.
It's like fucking Call of Cthulhu.
Okay.
Nice.
But before every session I always play, I have like a rule, like a hour 0 session or like anything where we go through a list of like, if someone's got a kid on the way and they don't want to talk about certain dark themes, we just X that. If we're going through these things where like, oh, nobody wants to talk about drug use, we X that. So that way I know what's going on in the session. I don't have to have it uncomfortable.
around
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm not going to be like, oh, we could talk about this, except Terry doesn't want to talk about this right now. So
Yeah,
never
yeah.
mind. We're going to fade to black, Terry. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? No. So
Avoid the uncomfortable bullshit.
And I stress
well, not
that.
bullshit, but
Yeah, no. I stress that to anyone though. Especially if you're running with random people, you should do that. But I would not want to do that on the podcast because I can't get all 3 listeners to sign that paper before we play. So I don't know what would trigger
Oh,
random
yeah.
people.
I
I
guess
mean-
it's true.
you sign the waiver when you hit play.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Literally, all you do is you just put like a
A trigger warning.
trigger warning
at
in the
beginning.
episode
Yeah.
description.
This episode contains,
Themes that may upset you.
smoking.
Smoking.
My brother really wants to play, because I was telling him about
Dude, we
Vampire the
gotta play
Masquerade.
games with your brother again.
Well, so remember I was telling you about that D&D campaign that I'm in?
yeah, I remember.
Great guy, great campaign, great story, great world building. However, he has spent the last 10 years playing in this fucking world,
Yeah.
and you could feel it. You could feel that
The
it was like
burnout.
he was ready to move on to something new instead of going back to the same NPCs, tying them further into this world, which I totally get. Pat was really bummed the other day. He messaged me and was like, "You're not going to like this." But Keith essentially, sorry, name dropping this guy who but he has gone on to do he's GMing or DMing with 2 other people, like a totally separate game, like just essentially abandoned this game,
Yep.
which we all saw coming because we haven't played in 6 months and
Right,
there's been
right.
no invite or no trying to get things together.
Right.
And so I was telling Pat, I was like, listen, he probably just doesn't know how to like deal with that closure
Yeah,
and being
yeah.
like, hey guys, it isn't working out. I'm bored. It's very apparent that you guys are slowly losing interest or whatever. So I'm like, Pat, there's nothing wrong with that.
Real quick, the amount of like uncomfortable things you have to learn as a GM so fast.
Yeah.
Telling someone that they should get off their phone and pay a little more attention,
Yes.
or like why are they not paying attention, or what's going on with this situation, does it make you uncomfortable, or situations like that where it's like we have to schedule and it's not working because of certain personalities.
Yes. And he is
that's never talked about.
I'm not trying to take away, but do you read the D&D horror stories?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm convinced most of it is fake or
No,
just
dude. No.
real.
Convention ones specifically are always like most unhinged shit.
It's all the online play ones that I'm like,
yeah,
like, this
people that
can't be
play with
happening.
strangers on like Discord.
Yeah,
Yeah, that seems deranged.
yeah.
And this is
Playing
an
with,
horror story.
playing with strangers in a LGS is fucking
Oh,
weird to me.
The LGS that we go to, the
Other
battle
people
standard,
are scary.
huge games of D&D where it's just like one DM, like
And
a,
like
an
9 fucking
employee,
people.
Yeah.
and then just 9
But that's
people.
That's also like corporate fucking got to get people in at the table. You got to
guess
fill
that's
every
true.
spot.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it doesn't
so everyone
matter.
buys the book.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who is signed up to that. You have to play and you have to run the game for
Oh
them.
my god, that's got to be just so hard. On a
That lady
DM.
last time though seemed very sick.
Yeah, I would like to play in her game. But anyway,
And
what
to
you
be
were
fair,
saying.
like Keith's, this game is not like a horror story or anything. It was a great game, but you could just tell like the interest was kind of waning.
Right.
And also Keith is just
On everyone's part or just his?
on everyone's part. On a lot of, you could just see there's a lot more people just on their phone, and on top of that, none of these people listen to this podcast, so I have no problem. But there was one guy who just, his character was started off the campaign being very vulnerable and very weak, and then all of a sudden, like, we show up at a session, and I'm like, he's like, oh, I'm running this homebrew, this homebrew class, and he's asking the DM, like, hey, can I get this guy to make this weapon that like does this thing to help make my class even stronger? And then Keith is like, well, that's not inherently broken, so sure. But then the player would like sort of twist it to be broken.
Right.
And so me and Pat would always just be looking at each other when this kid is like, oh yeah, so I do this much
Real math
damage
hammer.
and then I like absorb this much energy because of this, and so now I heal because of this, and now I'm going to start my second attack, and then I'm also going to now like cast a spell.
Oh
You know
my
what I mean?
God,
And it's
yeah.
like, I'm like,
Breaking
what the
the
fuck are
action
you
economy
doing?
of the
Like,
game.
what are you
Yeah.
doing?
I mean,
Like,
that was like that's like how 4th edition, 3.5 worked. That's how a lot of editions were played.
yeah. He's like, I'm absorbing elements, and then I'm also uncanny dodging. And I'm like, what classes? This sounds amazing. Like it sounds like you
Yeah,
really got
yeah.
it figured out. And so it just became like, okay, you beat D&D, like
Right,
you
right.
win. No matter what this guy throws at us, you're
Yeah.
just the one in front, and you're supposed
Guy
to be
who
like,
doesn't know how to share the spotlight.
yes,
That's like I
It's
think
fine,
that
but-
seems like it goes to like a conversation we've had before on this podcast about like what people are trying to get out of the game that they're
Yeah.
playing. And if he's looking to get some fucking crazy dice rolls,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
There
As
are
opposed
much
to
better
like a
systems to
narrative
play than 5th
experience.
edition.
Yeah.
yeah. And so, anyways, I was talking to Pat about it, and I was like, "Listen, like, you should you should use this as an opportunity instead of being like bummed that like it just didn't go the way that you wanted it to. Like, use this as an opportunity to try a new RPG, like a new system." Or he's like weird kind of storyteller guy, and so I'm like, you would like a game that's a little less about dice rolls and mechanics, and a little bit more about the RPG elements.
Figure out a schedule, man. I got 19 unplayed RPGs right now.
So we'll see if he
Wow.
wants to do it. But yeah, I think
know what,
Vampire
Dan?
would be great.
Or even if we're not playing vampires, like I've said, like World of Darkness in general, just
Yeah.
being a human in a world that's fucked up with all this fucked up stuff is very
Yeah.
cool.
It's okay if you sit when you come back. Phil's leaving the room, and I'm wondering.
I also have to pee, but I'm gonna hold it for a while.
Wow, nice. Wow, Phil's been standing for 30 minutes.
That's fucking crazy.
That is crazy. He doesn't have to do this. I feel like he's doing it out of spite now.
Absolutely.
He's sitting down in the bathroom right now. Just so
Oh, that's
take a
true.
load off.
Yeah, RPGs is something that I've like totally, and going back to like, I was like, I really have no time for RPGs because I'm doing this guy's campaign, and I really didn't want to do too many campaigns at once. But I'm like, Pat, this is kind of a blessing in disguise because now I can do all of these RPGs that I
Right,
haven't
right.
been able to do because I have a D&D session.
Yeah.
Or even like DM or do something that I haven't done in a while. And so now I'm really looking forward to it.
It's like a refreshing breakup.
It is. It is. It feels bad, but like that's
Yeah.
why I'm like, Pat, you can't hold any, like, just don't think about it as like, think about it as like this human being doesn't know how to communicate those intentions.
Yeah.
And know that he's your friend. Know that he would never try and like hurt you purposely.
Right.
Know that like he probably just feels awkward. And
right.
yeah, he should have came out and told you face to face. Sure. But like,
There's such a
doesn't
disconnect.
be a bad
We're
thing.
getting into the therapy hour of
I
high school
know,
here,
I know,
but
I
there's
know.
such a disconnect in like human behavioral. Like this is how we break down arguments and things.
This is how other people should act in common courtesy levels.
correct. However, taking that into because now we're talking about a game. There's just a disconnect where it's like, oh, I don't have to have those behaviors because this is about a game.
yeah, I'm a murder hobo now.
Yeah. Well, no, and like I'm saying from like your group breaking up. It's just like
oh,
yeah,
yes.
rather than like problem solving and like in like figuring out these like relationship issues with your friends, but like getting into like, oh well, the group's breaking up because of all these issues, and it's like, well, I don't have to treat this like I would like a friendship breakup or anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I mean, that's just human decency, bro.
Yeah.
No, but like I also understand it from both sides. It's like
Yeah, absolutely.
he shouldn't have to treat it like a friendship breakup, because
Right,
it's like
right.
in actuality it's just as simple as like, yeah guys, hey, I'm bored. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
more things should be treated as if you're like a
Talking about your
5-year-old
feelings.
on like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
playground where it's just like, I don't want to play baseball anymore. Let's go kick the soccer ball around.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, it's fine, dude. Like,
Right.
yeah, what are you going to do? Like hold on for the rest of it? It's going to be
Yeah.
a 30-year game that you're just going to play and
Hey
you're going
man,
to be
some people do
bored?
that.
Some people do that.
So I don't understand. Well, I mean, I guess I haven't played in enough campaigns to understand the idea of getting bored, but like, I don't know. I feel like if you have like a rich enough well of inspiration to draw from, how can you be bored with your own
You're
sort
not
of like
ever
living
really-
world? You know
Some
what
people
I mean?
have nothing up there. Some people have
From
no
my just about 7.5 year campaign that recently kind of died, I can tell you people getting bored of just setting is probably
Yes.
the biggest burnout.
Totally.
Okay.
Where you're just like high
I
fantasy.
would never have a problem with that.
Right. High fantasy to some people can get to a point where you're like, oh, anything can be solved by magic or whatever. And it's like, I would love to get a fucking gun. Like,
Totally.
I have a gun.
Totally. Or it's
Yeah.
like, I want to play fucking Shadowrun.
right.
Or I want to
I'm
play a
tired
different
of this
character.
shit.
I want to.
I want to play
Yeah.
a fucking rogue, dude. I want to sneak around. I've been playing barbarian, and it's just like, all right.
Or it's like a power level creep too, where like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
especially
Oh,
if
God,
you've played a world for so long. We even in that game, we started over with lower level characters in a totally different part of the world, and it was cool. It was refreshing, but still, some people were like, I would like a system where like Blades in the Dark, for instance, or one of those style games where you are like, you have a vice, you have all of these things that are just, the world is out to get you, where it's not like D&D where it's like, my mother and brother died and I'm here to avenge them. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you have like, the mechanics are actively against you. And then like that, once people are opening their eyes to more than just 5th edition, are like, well, maybe I could.
Yeah, I feel like because I still constantly like fantasize about like running a game. I guess maybe
Dude, you
5e or something maybe just isn't the way to do it then.
Listen,
it could be.
It could be. I'm a
Fate
huge
is cool.
Fate is very cool, but Fate is also a very different mentality for a lot of people. Also,
Yes, but it strikes that like
yeah,
I have my flaws, I have my feats of like
Yeah.
what I am good at, what I am bad at, what I suffer from.
and I'll even say the coolest part about Fate 2 is you don't even have to know that.
it's on the fucking fly.
Well, no,
You get to a problem. And you're like, oh, I can solve this problem by having
yes,
X.
yes, yeah,
And then
exactly.
it's canon because you guys come together to tell the
Right.
story of why.
I forgot about OSR shit.
Yeah.
There was a while ago where I got really into OSR shit, and I was
Yeah.
like, I want to ask you questions on the next episode. I forgot all about it.
Fucking let's have an OSR
Dude.
episode. I don't care.
Well,
We
I
should
just
have an
forgot that
OSR
OSR
episode.
even existed.
Yeah.
Or is it OSR, right?
Yep.
Yeah, old
Old
school
school
essential,
role-playing.
old school
Revival, Renaissance,
Revival,
either or.
Renaissance.
There's parts on both
See, like
camps.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Going back to what I was saying, or going back to what you were saying, Phil, about world building, and this is what I think happened to this kid, because like I said, he was really in love with his world. However, you get to a certain point where it's like, okay, I'm trying to create a new faction that's interacting with this world, but now that new faction has to toe the line with all these other political factions,
Yes.
or this faction, or how does it fit in this world with this? And to part of it, that can be fun. However, if you're creating a totally new faction and now you're like, well, what if they're under the rule of this character that I've beaten to fucking death because it's what makes sense, or it's what I like, it makes sense
Yeah.
in this world that I've like,
I think
you're
what
like,
you
okay, I'm
what,
done.
what Gage was saying about power creep kind of is to keep your villains small scale.
Yeah,
you don't need
Yeah.
to be fighting a fucking
yeah.
Big
And
bad
keep your
guy.
extra
character level
planar.
low.
But I will say the best thing too, like it happened. We only did it once, or I did it because I wrote the game. But the the most fun thing to do is when you're stuck in that sitting, like your boy is. Like there's just nowhere I can fit all these factions in. That's when you go way above scale, and you're like, the fucking world cracks in half, and now all this shit's dead, and now you got to figure out
So
this totally different.
that's a
go
cool
scale.
idea.
to
Yeah.
go like on a make a comparison. So if you are a fan of anime, specifically like shonen anime, power creep and power levels are sort of like
insane.
a thing
Yeah.
that are always
It's a baseline.
Yeah, and so it's like a thing where you're always upping the ante of like how powerful this
Super
villain
Saiyan
is.
God.
Despite it making
Yeah, you
no
can
sense.
flick a planet, and that is why,
Getting Gear 5.
as some people are aware, I am a fucking One Piece diehard, and one of the things that makes One Piece so good is that the most powerful characters in the setting are introduced day one. Like you know, it's always there's never like a new.
There's not a new threat because the threat is there. You know what it is.
Yeah.
That's
And then
how my
just over
campaign ran.
over the years, like the series culminates in reaching those characters. You know what I mean? It's not like you don't need to
right.
pull out a new villain. You have sort of like your
It's
each
always
story
overhead.
arc. Yeah, it's always overhead. You sort of have all your players in each story arc, but like the most powerful people are established early on, and that's something I think that's probably important in any sort of like narrative is so that you don't have to just keep inventing something new.
Right.
It's funny when we did my campaign with like Kook, Mruck, all those guys. We had a pretty big table, and I ran it for probably over a year, and I got to the burnout. Everyone else wanted to play.
Yeah.
I was bored of my own setting that I made up. Like, I had this whole world, this big bad guy. Like, they came into the game. Like, the big bad guy was their, like, kind of who they were working for. Like, you're going to work for me or I will fucking end you.
Yeah.
And they were going through all these missions, unlocking all these artifacts in the world, doing all this bullshit. And they loved it. They loved, like, the right-hand man to the bad guy. They're like, I want to work for this guy. He's cool. And then it turned into just me I don't want to do this anymore, and like I'm getting burned out, like because people have a phone at the table, like, and I'm guilty of it, but like
Totally.
I see it when I'm trying to explain something, and then someone goes, "Huh, what?" And I'm like, that sucks,
Dude, for me having insane ADHD, nothing.
I mean, that's literally me
pulls,
like sitting around recording a podcast.
Yeah.
Like
Nothing pulls me out of it more than when I'm explaining something and I look over something I'm stoked on.
Yeah.
I'm like, this big reveal after
Yes.
3 sessions just happened, and you look at someone and he's just like, oh, what? And I'm
I
like,
don't know if I could deal with
I'm
that.
like, I could crack your phone in half right now.
Yeah.
or someone's doing like you have a very clear objective of like everyone's
Yeah.
like I want to do this thing,
Yeah.
and then one person is like I want to do this stupid thing,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna do this silly thing because it's funny or it's
Yeah.
like
Well, that's
breaking
just
away.
No jokers at the table.
Well, no, I don't mind joking.
Well,
I
we
do not
dealt with
mind.
that. We
I don't-
dealt with.
Oh, dude, I was there. I was there for one session, and I fucking
Yeah.
I've heard about the infamous dick shot.
Yeah.
They
And I
shoot him in the
tried.
dick?
Shoot
I
him in the
tried
dick.
so hard to be like a good sport about it, and
I just made fun
for
of him
so
all the
long.
time.
And it just like eventually came to a head, and we had players fighting, and the game literally fell apart just because it was like I don't know what to do because I
just
have
gonna
this
keep
one
saying.
player that's like every time I
So
would see him,
uncomfortable role playing that the only time, like his only
Yes.
response when you ask him, "Hey, what do you do?" I attack his penis.
yeah, like a LOL, and then another player getting so mad that 2 related players getting so mad that they
Perhaps
just
brothers.
got into an insane fight that caused the other person to be like, I'm not going to play if they're playing. And then we tried to continue it without the other person.
Yeah.
And then just having to see the other brother and being like, when are we going to play again? And I'm like, dude, like, you got to talk to your freaking brother because he's saying he's not going to play if you're not going to play. Oh, dude, what an awkward game ender that was. Of just being like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really interested in fixing this family's dynamic to play a D&D
That's
game.
role-playing games,
I know,
baby.
right? It's just dealing with people's personalities.
Human behavior that is forced to be in the spotlight. No matter
However, I
what.
was so close to you guys were like steps away because going back to saying, like the length of games, like them lasting a year. I always think like, okay, a game, in my opinion, or at least D&D, in my opinion, it should have 3 acts. It should have the big starting zone, which we had.
I mean,
we
that's
followed
generally
through.
storytelling in general, right? You usually want 3
Yeah,
acts.
and I think maybe that's probably where I got the idea, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to go with that. But it was like the first one was like fighting the big bad evil werewolf, where you find out there's like a beholder that's kind of controlling everything behind the
That
scenes.
was literally the reveal at the end was the beholder.
Yeah.
So no.
Well,
no, that was not Act 1.
No, that was act 1, and then we went into a portal which brought us to the island.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
And then so when we were on the
And we
island,
never finished Act 2 is what
and
it was.
we were going to a faraway island called Goose Egg Island or whatever, and we were fighting.
That was going to be Act 3?
That was going to lead, because there you were going to find Nezeret, actually, where my character came from there. And Nezeret was stealing souls because the werewolf was stealing souls to then give to, or the beholder or whatever was stealing souls to then give to Nezeret.
Yeah.
Nezeret was stealing souls, and then from there you were going to go to the third act, which was Stygius. Is that it?
Stygies, yeah.
Stygies, the like sixth
like a
layer
plane
of
of hell.
hell.
Yep.
It's just like a frozen waste, and so you were going to be in the frozen waste. So it was going to go like kind of hometown, mountainous, fall time to coastal, tropical,
pirate, type
to
thing.
like wasteland,
frozen
frozen wasteland. But like I wanted to have like sick nomadic tribesmen like moving through this layer of hell that you're like interacting with. And then you were going to fight the big bad evil guy who was holding Pat's character's god hostage. And I kept being like, you have this dream that blah blah blah. Like, dude,
damn.
I had it all planned out.
I feel like that also requires a level of improv that I don't know that I have, because I feel like I'm a control freak, and I always think like, well, maybe I would just let people roll whatever class they want, but your fucking narrative is mine. Like, I'm telling you what your background story
That's
is.
like the ground zero talk, though.
Yeah.
Like you're in my world. This
Session
is the
zero.
path you're on. Here's a
you-
prompt that you are going to
no
follow.
elves in this world. Don't make it.
Oh, I do that shit all the fucking
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Which I said.
Human supremacy, sorry.
Dude, straight up, dude.
Yeah, I think I gave you guys. I was like, no dragonborns, no orcs, no elves. I think.
I think I made everyone be a human in my campaign. I don't think I allowed
The one I played in?
No,
Oh,
in
the
a
other
different
one?
one. That my year-long campaign. I think it was like straight up no fucking other class, no
Yeah.
other races.
Which
and then
is-
some people
I-
would show up and be like, I'm playing an elf. And I'm like, you're fucking sure. You can be the one elf. You can be the one elf.
Or it's like you get the elf stats, but I'm still going to refer to you as a human.
Yeah.
You know? Just like
Same thing with magic. I tried to always be like, it's a low magic setting. If you want to be a magic user,
Yeah.
find a physical, like,
You do be
realistic
loving low
way.
magic.
Dude, I
fucking love
straight
that.
They're the
seriously.
best.
That's why I really love the world of A Song of Ice and Fire, because it is, you have your dragons and your the fucking White Walkers and
you have
stuff.
fantasy aspects.
But there's so things that are so rarely encountered, and so much of it is grounded. So much of the action scenes, like in that series, is just two fucking knights smashing each other.
which is fucking cool.
well,
There's so much of
with
the
you on
action is
the-
just like pirate raids. and-
Yeah.
Are you familiar with
There's-
Lankmar? The Lankmar setting?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that would
Is
be your
that
jam.
D&D setting?
Yeah.
I don't know if it.
Or
David
is it like
Hoskins
its
is going
own?
to yell at me right now. No, it's
Uh-oh.
going to happen. I don't think it started as a D&D setting, but it turned into a D&D setting.
Oh, cool.
How long have I been standing up?
it's
dude,
probably about 45.
I don't know. Do you think you made your point yet?
Yeah, you can
I
sit
I
if you
don't
need
even
to.
remember what the point was.
Me neither. Sorry, I spoiled
45
the
minutes.
game. I guess we'll never go back to that game
45
anyway. So.
minutes.
7.
I will say
58,
though,
59.
low
All right,
fantasy.
folks, 45
like, in
minutes.
my
There we go.
campaign,
I'm
it was-
sitting down.
It was a year-long campaign. Magic existed and it was a thing, but only people of like power.
Yeah.
Like if you wielded magic, it was like your fucking flaming sword swiping down a squad of
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
were-
I would want magic, and I would absolutely want magic, and I would absolutely want the supernatural, but
Yeah.
I don't want that to be a crutch for the players. I want it to be something that's key to storytelling,
Yeah.
like pivotal,
Yeah.
the idea of going to like a high elf city where there's just fucking guys casting magic in the street. Like I fucking hate that.
No, dude.
Whack.
It's- I think it's a little bit too much in like high fantasy stuff.
I love
I
high
know.
fantasy.
I know you do.
I love high
Which is
fantasy.
fine.
Which I love Morrowind. Like I love Elder Scrolls, which
Oh,
is
yeah,
kind of a
I'm-
high fantasy setting.
I like high fantasy, but as a world that I would want to role play in, no, not really.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to role play in
Like to me,
Warhammer, the old
Sigmar, that is high fantasy, but like that's
Not
I'm
everyone's
not-
a
I'm
fucking
not-
wizard.
I'm not role playing as a goddamn beast man,
No.
Yeah.
Phil, give me your best Beastman impression. So Brandon in our original Out of the Abyss campaign, Brandon played a Kenku. And Kenku
my
was-
God. Yep,
yeah,
yep.
that
Kenku
sucks.
are cool though.
but his name was it was Goat Bleat.
Okay.
That was his literal name. So literally, he was
He's a fucking bird guy with a goat bleat as a name.
that was his name. It was so fucking funny. He was so good at it, but it inevitably died by a whale in a lake.
Oh,
a whale
I'm
in
sorry.
a lake.
No, I'm sorry. A dragon turtle in a lake.
Oh, okay.
it going back though, like the disappointment from seeing someone on their phone and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the feeling of like you see your players and you do a reveal. And it might not even be like a crazy world breaking reveal, but just a reveal of something that they are excited about is such a nice feeling as a DM.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Like
Lucian is the best player to have at a table.
Oh, I'm
because
sure.
He is the motherfucker that will, and
he'll remember.
you have to make sure you're on your toes because
Yes.
because he'll be like, I thought this was a high elf person, and you're like, no, it totally was, bro. Yeah, high elf. That's what I
Yes.
said. Definitely not wood elf.
He's out there taking notes.
Yeah,
Great
and then
player. So is
I
Phil.
love that.
Phil
Yeah.
was like that too.
And
I
so, oh yeah,
counted on
I
Phil.
did, and then that was another thing where eventually I feel like I felt the pressure to do that, and I just burnt myself out and stopped doing that. Where every session I would literally a full page of everything. That
And
I
I would
Dude,
take
I would
his
do-
notes to remember what happened.
Yeah, it's the best.
You have like a shopkeeper that you just give him a fucking name in a fucking town, and then someone's like, I remember that guy, he was sick. I dealt with him buying fucking whatever, and he told me this. And I'm like, I don't even remember that guy's name. Like,
Yeah.
and you want me to bring that guy back. Holy shit, better fucking figure it out.
Dude, I mean, we can go on for RPGs forever, but
Yeah.
the one thing that I'll always say to people, especially when they're like, you still play D&D or like stuff like that, it's like, there is nothing different in your brain with how it processes all of us being friends at Terry Fest.
Yeah.
That like reaches a certain level of serotonin in our brain where we're like stoked on it. There is no difference scientifically between me being like, yo, remember when we killed that red dragon?
Yeah.
And you're remembering it the same way as, yo, remember when we hung out at that nature house?
Yeah.
Your brain remembers it the same way. RPGs are so sick.
Yeah, and D&D is a great system, you know? I think D&D is a really good system. Has a lot of great rules. A lot of people know those rules,
Yes.
so you can be like, oh, you know how to play role-playing games? Most likely it's D&D. You can just jump in with us, and
Yeah.
you'll have a basic understanding of the rules.
Generally, yeah.
Now,
Oh, go back to loving Lucian, though, because you didn't finish.
I was just gonna say that the great reveal. Like he is the player that when you have the great
Yes.
reveal, he's the one that is just like, no, dude, no, yeah,
The hype man.
happened. Yeah, you're like,
You need that player.
You need
That's
that
a great player.
I-
Phil is that player.
I still get fucking amped when I think about like Mruck, Kook, all of them. Like, we restarted the campaign, same world, they're all in it. They're at a fucking like slave camp, and one of the characters that someone played, that they all loved the character, but that player might not have been there. So I was playing him as, you know, an NPC, and it was like revealed who he was, and he fucking loses it and like fights the guards, and he ends up dying in front of everyone, and everyone's just fucking devastated to see this
Yeah.
dude that they traveled with for like almost a year in a campaign, and they watch him die to fucking like guards in a fucking escape, like, you know, the great escape type moment where they get to leave and he dies.
Yeah.
we had
Fucking
when I restarted. I think it was like year 4 of our campaign. We did this big great reveal where like I really pulled the scope out of the world so they could really kind of travel. We had this like big great reveal of like the new cult that's been kind of behind the scenes for forever. And I had this totally long speech written out, and then like they're casting fucking like magic prisons on everyone, so the players have to watch this happen. And then I had a guy execute like their favorite NPC, just look up from like me reading the script, and just 4 players are crying. And I was like, damn, RPGs,
Yeah, man.
they hit different.
It's great. I have to shout out a book that totally changed the way that I planned for D&D sessions, which is, I think, The Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master. I'm going to go grab it.
Sly Flourish, baby. Dude, Sly Flourish rocks.
Yeah,
I met him at PAX.
Yeah, he breaks down. Oh shit, what's this? Nice little bookmark.
Oh,
Celebrity
Celebrity
Crunch
Crunch
Classic bookmark. Fell out of it. This book, dude, and it's like $15 online. What is it called again? The Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master. And I used to prepare so hard for the sessions.
Yep.
And then you end up you don't put your players on rails, but you heavily influence their decisions just by planning that much, because it's like
Yes.
you're putting so much attention into it. And even if you're like, well, if they do this, what's going to happen? Well, if they do this, what's going to happen? His system of breaking down Michael E. Shea, Sly Flourish, his way of breaking it down, it comes out just being like you have these settings. The idea of these settings kind of pre-thought out. There'll be like 5 settings. You have, and there's just like a couple of lines of like the basic idea of what they look like. You have a list of 5 magic items and like what they do, or like just some items that they could find that help to further the quest. And it's like, and you have 5 characters that might show up, and you have 5 of this, that, and it's just 2 lines of like text and a sentence in each one. And then a lot of it is putting the playing back on the players. So instead of like having a recap of what happened last session, you go like, Gage, what do you remember from last session? And then you start telling it, and then Steve goes like,
that every
oh
session.
yeah, like then this happens. And it informs you to what the players actually fucking care about.
Their perspectives on everything of your game.
If there's
That
like,
you didn't even see.
We spent a half hour shopping. They're like, oh yeah, they love shop. No, you.
yeah.
It's what they're.
I remember that shopkeeper who I made a fucking deal with, and he told me a little bit of something about the world.
And then you can like write that down, and then it's like next session, maybe that comes up. Or it's like maybe you've been pushing a player, like a player originally said, like, I want to find my long lost family. And you've been kind of pushing that narrative on them. But like really what they're remembering is like, oh yeah, I remember we found that dog. Like we met there was somebody with like that dog, the stray dog. And like all of a sudden now their whole direction comes to like caring for a stray dog.
Right.
And it's like, well, it still gives them the idea of like healing after losing their family or whatever they're fucking doing. But like now it's a totally different direction that you got from being like, what do you remember from the game? And so much of it is like getting better at improv. And
he is the one that taught me before every session, well, before every game, come up with a minor goal and major goal.
Yeah.
That we were talking about. And then before every session say, hey, do you think you got any closer, or at the end of every session, I'm sorry, do you think you got any closer to any of your goals? What did you want to do to get to your goals? For the same reason, put it back on the player. If your character wants to be the greatest chef in the world while he's still kind of saving the world from this other cult, what is he doing to become the greatest chef? Oh, we killed that dragon turtle and we skinned it, and I took some of the skin, and I'm going to roll a couple dice and see if I prepare it better this time. Like, that's all people fucking want. They want to be in their own brain about whatever cool shit they're doing.
Because ultimately, they want to be the main character in their world.
So as long as you're putting it back on the player for that, then that's all they want. And this, I think I have the PDF of this book, but I used to. His YouTube channel is awesome.
Yeah.
What's the YouTube channel called?
Sly Flourish.
Yeah. And in this book too, it led to something I use in my classroom a lot, which is like just saying people's names.
Yep.
Like if you're telling them a story, you can, blah, 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 blah is happening. It's connected to blah, 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 blah. And then you could be like, and Gage would know because he has an excellent level of like elvish knowledge that this would be the case, or whatever. Or like you're just kind of mentioning them so they look up. Yep. And it's like, then it just like builds
That's
that
also
attention.
just like
ties you in.
Yeah.
That's a good like human practice, by the way, for like conversations, just to be saying their name to make sure they're attentive. I forgot who taught me that, but it's like nobody loves anything more than their own name.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah.
Really, I feel super uncomfortable
I don't
when
like
people
it
say
either.
my name.
Haley gets
What do you
really
mean?
upset too.
In a conversation, to make sure someone's paying attention, if you're like, well, I don't know, Phil, what do you think about this? Rather than being like, hey, man, what do you think?
Oh, it also just makes the person feel like validated too.
Right.
I feel like you're putting me on the spot.
You're on the spot.
You're on the spot.
Dude, I've been trying to compliment people more.
Yeah.
It's great. I feel like compliments
You look pretty cool today.
Dude, thank you so
I
much.
like that shirt.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you
like
so
that
much.
shirt.
Thank you guys.
That totally not panicking shirt.
Same
Compliments
idea.
rock.
It's the same thing as saying their name. You just like tell people, not like a lie, but like you see something, I've been doing this a lot at school. And it makes the kids feel better. It makes the teachers feel better. And I'm like, oh, and it makes me feel better. I'm
You
like,
also
dude, I
have
feel
no
great.
idea what's going on in someone's head, and then they're like, hey, man, cool shirt. And they're just like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I told some lady it's cool shoes, and she's like, that's the second compliment I got in these shoes. And they were just like fucking weird, like Nikes, but they looked new.
Yeah.
But she was just so stoked. And I'm like, then that makes me feel better. It's like a mutual, it's like free happiness that I get to give and then also
Crazy.
get.
Yeah.
It's also selfish in that way because it's like, now I get to feel good.
I'm
It's
only
pretty
making
great.
you feel good for me.
Yeah. I've been thinking about just like the power of just little niceties to people lately. And it's like cheating. It's like happiness cheating.
Yeah. Hey, listener,
Yeah.
you look pretty cool today.
Yeah. You look sexy. Yeah.
You look pretty chill.
Yeah. So do you, Steve.
Thanks.
Steve's a pretty chill guy. Anyway, shout out to our patrons. I almost forgot to say it. Phil, my friend, my good friend Phil is going to read the
Yep.
names in just a second.
I'm going to be reading these names for my friend.
Are you going to
Terry.
read them all, or are we going to do just the new
All
ones?
53 of them.
You're gonna make him read all 53.
Yeah, I'm going to read all
That's
53.
crazy.
All right, we need
We
to
can't be
at
doing
some-
Times 2 speed
Yeah.
up.
I think after this episode, we should just do
Clip
new
it.
Yes,
patrons.
I agree.
All right. Okay. I'm not going to clip it. That sound like a sick medical ad, or it's just like, thank you for.
Well, I'm going to have to drag it out this time.
That's fine.
Well,
Thank you.
last time I did it as fast as possible.
I think you should do it because it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Big thank you to our patrons over on Patreon. If you would like to support us by being a patron, you can head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/hivescum, where you get an extra half hour of content every week. Usually it's us talking about fucking Halo or some crazy
Triple X.
or Triple X like
Fast
this
and
last
Furious.
one. Fast and Furious. Yeah, you know what? Actually, but they're always crazy.
It is
They're
cool.
always really good. But anyways, you get an extra half hour content plus over there you get some cool little tutorials if we decide to throw it up, plus just like news of what we got going on that's like kind of big deal stuff.
And I mean, example of stuff that you benefit from. I mean, Patreon members got a little head start on tickets.
Yes, and yeah,
Ultimately, look where we're at now.
yes,
Front of the Dice Fest.
it is very true.
Desperately scrounging for more tables and more venues.
And then in the upcoming couple of months, or maybe even months, we'll have some merch that will come first to patrons,
Yep.
and then after that, but no, no
No
spoilers
promises.
about that. Don't forget that we have an awesome collaboration with Knucklebones Miniatures, with some amazing Hive Scum podcast host minis that you can get.
Bounty Hunters of the Hive.
Head over to his Patreon at Knucklebones Miniatures, I imagine. So yeah, now we turn it over to Phil to give this the best go he's got.
The best go. Well, shout outs to Darren Maroney, Chris Griffin, Gregory Wire, Miles Bergstrom, Vander Twix, Rojas Noirlock, Joe Aquilina, Catherine Galdamez, Sam, Brandon Ainway, Hollow Bodies, Bradley Porter, Joe Vestry, Nick, Asa Wagner, Cody Pfeiffer, Kimmy Zergo, Planet Piss Tyler, Black City Games, Frano Carrillo, Cole Griffin, Dylan Bauer, Maxwell Patel, Dylan Mayette, Niall Nelly, Ablaza McClure, Epic Taco 6, Ian Talmadge, The Grey North, Smash Bash, Old World Century Sam, Colin, Michael Medina, Human Fly, Tim D, Jay Pickett, Torben Kastbjerg, Bryce Goodlet, The Vizard Dom, John Auton, Seb Battistini, Michael Notaro, Brandon Stewart, Kieran Sweet, Nick, David Hoskin, Matt Knuckles, Renzo Cavedo, DIY Possum, Zachary Zaringer, Kyle Bragg, Orlando X Doom, It's What Evan, and Adam Moskalik.
Knife head at the end there.
Let's go.
Phil, that was great. I was like
those are
holding my
so was
breath.
that from the newest to the oldest?
That is from
Yes.
the
Look
newest
at
to the
that.
oldest. So
our
it's
first,
great.
Our first three, beautiful.
But it also
Three of our favorite.
It was
three
nice
of our
to
closest friends.
to start reading the newest ones first because they haven't been shouted out yet. So
There you go.
Thank you, Phil.
You want to answer some of these questions?
Oh yes,
What
I
a
do.
segue!
But who?
Do we have any questions?
I'm doing the damn voice today. It's been too long. Questions from the Hive.
That was a little too scary.
That was cool.
Yeah, I wanted to push it.
Push.
I want to give it a little push. Yeah, a little question from the Hive action.
My microphone doesn't go this far.
Oh
Yes, it
yeah,
does.
3-foot cords, motherfucker. Should have invested in the 4s.
That's true. Ian Nanbanzuki,
Cape Cod Ian.
Cape Cod Ian, asks, what is everyone's grossest medical malady?
Gross. Does that mean like
It's a funny
things that have
question.
happened to us? That's gross.
Sure.
Like medically.
Question is open for interpretation.
I had a cyst in my thumb when I was a kid, and I had to get surgery to get it pulled out.
That's wild.
It's probably the grossest
Phil?
thing.
I don't know, gingivitis or hemorrhoids.
That is gross.
I don't have any like gross ones that I've seen some gross ones.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
cheating.
yeah.
You're in the profession of gross
You don't have
medical
anything
maladies.
that's like you never had like a weird cyst or something, or like a
I got two, but they're not really gross.
boil?
One, I had a fingernail pop off because someone stepped on my hand. And it fucking so the fingernail my hand got stepped on like right above the top tip of the knuckle, and then the fingernail just popped out.
Grossy.
Yeah. And the other one, I worked at a car wash many years ago when I was like in high school, and I got some chemicals on this finger, and for some reason I would get these like blisters all over my finger, and I had them for like a year. They would just keep coming back. Like where the chemicals.
It's fucking crazy that you said that, because I used to always get random little blisters on my hands, and now that you said that, since I stopped screen printing,
You don't have them
I
anymore.
don't have.
Holy
I
shit.
couldn't even tell you what chemical
was literally
because I was
where I
constantly
spilled
handling
it.
chemicals.
Like got it on my finger, like right here, and I would get these little tiny like clear liquid blisters that I would just pop them all the time.
Crazy.
It's oil-based things, I believe.
Really?
Because it's super common in manufacturing.
Really?
Fucking all machinists, just their hands are all fucked up.
Because I mean, I still handle lots of chemicals, but
Yeah,
that's
I don't
about
really
it,
get
though.
anything from them.
Crazy.
Oh, I do got a gross one. Well, I don't know how gross it is for other people. I got a saliva stone once stuck under my tongue, and I had to cut it out.
You did some self surgery.
My brother's girlfriend was a PA, and she brought home like a lance, and we just fucking sliced it out.
Oh, okay. I feel like I already know what Gage's answer is.
What? What's mine?
All the stones.
Oh yeah.
My
Creepy
kidney stone?
stones.
Yeah. My kidney stone was
How big was it?
2.5 grains of rice.
That's pretty big. I had one
Yeah.
once.
It
It
was-
was not big at all.
It was some very, very minuscule amount, too close to being lasered. So
2 grains of rice. That's pretty big.
2.5 grains of rice.
That's
yeah.
really big to come out of your pee
Mine was
hole.
like
So here's the thing, which many people don't know. It doesn't hurt pissing out. It doesn't hurt coming through your urethra. It hurts going from leaving your kidney.
yeah.
So once it passes through that,
you're just like
going
"All
into
right,
your liver, I
boys."
believe, showing my absolute lack of anatomy, that's where it kills you. Because I thought I threw my back out from riding. And we're driving home, and like in a half-hour period, I was like, Danny, my back hurts, to being like, go to the emergency room right now. I'm dying. My
Oh, and
appendix
that was
exploded.
that was your kidney stone.
Yeah. And then just pissing blood and like wishing I was dead.
Funny. I had kidney stone first,
Yeah.
and then
Before me? What do you think, you're cooler?
No,
Yeah.
and then I had my appendix almost explode.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I thought it was kidney stone. I was like, I'm not going to the fucking hospital. I'm gonna wait this out.
And
And I was
on your
just like,
deathbed.
literally, and I was just dying. And I'm like, I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not going. And
Yeah.
I went.
An
They're like,
appendix,
"Good
is that
thing
the
you
one that
came."
you don't need?
I think so.
Yeah, but you could
I would
die.
love-
Gallbladder,
all-
you do need.
I would love all vestigial organs just cut out of me. I don't
Yeah.
want them.
I want to know what they're there for.
Well, there's
Don't they
things
say
that we know
appendix,
we
like,
don't.
rocks?
We don't know what they do.
It's not that we don't know
Your
what they
appendix
do.
rocks?
It's that
It's for like
they're vestigial. It's
Rocks
something
that
that
go in there?
at one time in human evolution they served a purpose. And
Exactly.
they no
I want
longer
to know
do.
when and why.
Well, think of
Well-
like how we started cooking the food that we ate.
You think
You know
it was
what I
like
mean?
for filtering shit?
Yeah,
like
someone
through-
could have done
Salmonella
stuff more like that.
fucking-
You know,
yeah, I think like
processor.
fucking weird dirt and shit would go in your.
That's probably why I
appendix.
got through the Chipotle fucking scare.
I mean, if I don't know.
I like the Grot question.
Well, if we're sharing like medical fucked up things like BMX stories, I could tell you all fucking.
Well, if we're
I've
going down-
destroyed this fucking body, but that's a question for in person. Seb,
what's up, Seb?
would like to know what guidelines, if any, do you try and keep in mind while writing lore snippets for your guys?
What do you mean by guys?
So like your models, your war bands, when you're kit bashing like a fucking brand new idea, I'm assuming this is what Seb is referring to. What is your thought process for the little lore behind your little war band when we're like Terry's Instagram posts?
Oh. I usually bash and then think of a story. I'll bash something I think looks cool and then build a story around that.
I'm
Me
kind
too,
of in the
usually.
same vein, but it'll be like I pick up a piece and I go, "Oh, this is something an Inquisitor would take."
Yes.
And then I'll put it on, and then I'll grab something like, "Oh, this Inquisitor loves this mace. Well, he's fucked up. He's crazy." And then we'll go from there. So
Yes.
kind of in the same vein, but I think the bit specifically will tell me. Although we've all kit bashed to a prompt,
Yeah.
and that helps.
And
to come up with
sometimes,
something ahead
like
of time.
Brothers of Prometheum, it's like you have a world that this model lives in, and then
That
your
shapes
lore
them.
is based on the world but also individual as you make it. It's like, okay, this guy's fucking Terminator Brothers of Prometheum. It's like, well, what's his deal?
They landed on this ship X amount of years ago, and they
Yes.
were fucking stranded from their drop pod, and they joined the rest of these guys. Yeah.
Or it's like, like Paulie Mordheim has the freaking Genestealers that he's doing.
Which are very sick.
It's very sick, and it has its own story, but it's like
Pure
it's
straight, baby.
grounded in the brothers' world.
What's also sick is we didn't even know we were both working on Genestealer Cults, and
He's not doing GSC.
Well, I understand, but he's using a ton of GSC models. We're so far away from each other's ideas of what they could be. He's using total technology like AdMech bits more than anything. I've been sending him Necromunda shit.
His shit is like straight up like Alien Redemption.
Yeah,
Which
absolutely.
is fucking sick.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be like fucking. They're barely even aliens.
Yeah.
they're
There's some guys.
Yeah, they're just like a fucking syndicate, and
Which is why Genestealer Cults is like so versatile.
All ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, you could do so much with it.
You could do the fucking Alien Redemption where the aliens are controlled by humans that are fucking weaponizing Tyranids.
oh yeah,
like you could do
absolutely.
that.
Yeah,
to fucking
vice
long.
versa. So guidelines we have, Seb.
Yeah, I've never had guidelines for anything. All
Yeah.
of my sort of like creative,
But you're
it's very stream of consciousness.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say your storylines are also probably the most. I don't want to say absolute, but like your beastmen are so well thought out and defined.
He's been thinking of it for 30 years.
Well,
What are you fucking-
no, not at all. The lore stuff, I wrote that only when we started the campaign.
Right. So like literally when we had the one-on-one of like your dude fucking smashing my guy's head,
Yeah.
you were like, oh, this shaman, and then you knew the name off the rip, and you were like, he's known for this.
Yeah.
And this guy, well, he's always done this. And then, but that also, I'll say, kind of adjacent to your question, Seb, a lot of these when we were playing kind of came out in the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really know where my army was going until I started getting my shit kicked in 4 games in a row, and then realizing like, oh, this is where I want to go with the story.
Yeah.
So
Letting the game itself inform the narrative.
I will say my whole thing, my Beastmen army kind of, or my ogre army kind of came from that one guy I made with the fucking gold mask. And I was like,
Yep.
yep, that's all
These
their
guys love
that's
gold.
their fucking lore.
they're obsessed
They're
with gold.
fucking-
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is somehow you got to do it.
Which is funny because the mask he has is not a mask. It's just a fucking Yeti face,
Yeah.
which I can never find the kit.
No, I
find
tell you
that
exactly what kit that is. That is the Fomeroid Crusher or whatever. It's a
What's the
chaos
sprue
kit.
number?
I don't know, I'm
35.
sorry.
35.
on. 35
It's
sprue.
one of the heads from the. It's the Fomeroid something.
I come up with a lot of ideas in the shower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take a shower at night.
There's
I
some
think that
like
is
scientific basis to that from what I've been
Taking a shower at
told.
night?
Taking a shower at night, I think, is important.
Dude, so I
only
love
take it at night.
I
do
love showering in the
reflections.
morning because it helps you wake up.
Yeah,
Cold
But
shower?
Being a
Pussy.
long hair, it was destroying the grease in my hair
oh
There's
yeah,
a
I bet.
I just
alternate
never knew
head,
that.
too.
because I was showering twice
It's
a
the
day.
alternate head.
That is also sick.
He has a
That's pretty cool.
little thing over his one eye.
Oh, that is dope. Yeah, shower at night, people. You can reflect on your entire day while you're standing in the shower. It's sick.
Don't masturbate in the shower though, because you'll
Clog the drain.
have a stroke.
Oh, that's also true. It's too hot in there or
what?
something, right?
Yeah, it's too hot.
It's steam. You got to get
Yeah.
oxygen to your brain. You're breathing too quick
Yeah.
or something.
okay.
Heart's
Totally.
Well, I've
beating
never
too
been
quick.
able to, for whatever reason, little TMI. I find it extremely hard to nut, and when my
In the
entire
shower?
body is wet. Yeah, it's like a weird,
Really?
Yeah.
When your body's wet,
When my whole
like a
no,
pool?
like like in the water.
no new room massage for you, bro.
No new room massage for me.
Yeah.
Totally random. I don't know why this came into my head. I saw because I'm on EMS algorithm now.
Sick.
No.
I saw one of a guy who it was like he's like fucking performing CPR and he stands up and it's like when you stand up too fast from doing CPR for the last 3 minutes and he just passes out and it's the Call of Duty switching sides.
Never seen that happen.
Switching sides.
He's just like,
Just EMS memes.
dude, I'm getting them
Dude,
all.
there's some.
my
I got one saved in my phone. It's really good. I'll show it to you after.
Oh
it's a
my
WW.
God.
It's a WWF Attitude Era firefighter EMS. It's a video that's like 40 seconds long. It's really good.
Oh. Now, Gage, do we have a little silly one to end us off with?
Yeah.
Or
I
actually, you
got
know
one.
what? We
I
could
see
probably
it.
do if we did like a serious one and then a silly one. We
Okay.
could probably that
All
would
right.
probably.
Well, I got a
be-
perfect one. Then. I got two for us right here.
That way we can save some of these.
Yeah.
These are good ones.
Kieran Sweet. Which pet would you rather? A servo skull, a grot, or a little nurgling?
Oh, I mean a servo skull.
Yeah, probably a servo skull.
Servo skull easily.
Really?
but
Why?
grots are cool.
Servo skull is it's like a fucking computer.
I
It
could be
helps
like, go
you-
get me
it-
fucking
It'll help
McDonald's.
you.
What fucking hands is it gonna get?
It's got a fucking claw.
Yeah, maybe it's got a little claw. Could
Oh,
grab the bag.
I would say servo skulls can be like
I think a
they have
servo skull.
ton of different options.
Servo skull would be able to help me stay organized in a way that
Oh.
a grot or a nurgling would not.
No,
They
certainly
would do the
would not.
opposite.
Grot would add a lot of fun to your life.
Yeah, it'd be real Gremlins hour,
Yeah,
but Gremlins after midnight,
Yeah.
kind of when you feed them, like when you get them wet, kind
yeah.
of Gremlin.
Nurgling
Yeah.
would be a lot of cleanup.
Nurgling would be so shitty.
It's just like
Not fun in any way other than like,
No.
hey, go fuck with
You'd
that
have,
guy
like,
that just
pink
cut me
eyes.
off in line.
you just get pink.
You're sick
yeah.
all the time. You're sick just all the time.
Although it has a cute little butt. You can see
I
its cute
guess
little
it's
butt all the
shitting
time.
out of your
Servo
ass
skull,
all the
final
time.
answer.
It's wiping its
I would
dirty ass on
probably
the
go
ground.
I would probably go grot.
I don't know.
Grot.
Grots are
Yeah.
fuckers, dude. I've been
Yeah.
reading
Yeah.
that book, and
You
they're
just-
not nice.
You give them a good crumping, and then they go do what you
I
want.
guess.
Do you
but
know
then
how
you have
big
to-
a grot is?
Yeah,
How big do you think a grot is?
I could still fucking square up on a grot.
I don't know if I could
Gage.
hit a grot. I'd feel bad.
that
would
big
you kick a
nose.
dog?
Yeah, dude. Sometimes a dog gets out of control. You can't kick a dog.
You're telling me if a dog was chasing down Sarah, you wouldn't kick that dog?
That's different.
Yeah, I guess that is.
You're telling me if
different.
a grot wasn't chasing down Sarah, you wouldn't hit a grot.
Yeah, I'd hit a grot. Yeah, I might hit a grot. I guess. All right, granted, that is a time I would hit a grot. But I wouldn't hit it if it was just being naughty. A naughty
Clean
grot.
your room.
Yeah.
You're just kicking it.
It's just throwing stick grenades at me. Stick
Domestic
bombs.
abuse.
Stop it. Cut it out. Yeah, grots are pretty fucked up. I don't know about that. Gage looks like he's ready to read another question.
Oh,
Yeah. Chippendale, the homie, asks,
Oh, okay. This is a good one to end on.
what would everyone's jobs be in the actual hive?
I'd be a bounty hunter.
Yeah?
Maybe. Seems like a dangerous job, but it seems sick.
In
If you're
the
gonna die in the
Underhive?
fucking underhive, I'd rather die with a gun. You know.
In the
That's
Underhive,
true.
what would I do? Oh, you know what? I want to be a store clerk, but like it's
What
just
kind
like
of store?
Yeah.
scrap seller guy.
Oh,
You
that'd
know
be
what I mean?
sick.
Yeah.
Your big goggles on.
Yeah, but
Oh,
you're like
totally.
a Delac guy anyway.
Yeah. What are they all about?
They're like espionage spies.
Yeah.
See, I don't know.
Cut
if I
But
could
they
be a
look
spy.
like you, is what he's saying.
I'd be like a tinkerer guy. You know?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
look like that, but I
Yeah.
could also be wear big welding goggles and just like have like little tiny eyeballs when I pull off my goggles.
I believe the reason they
Just
wear
dirt
goggles is they have extreme light sensitivity
Correct.
The
Yes.
delic,
too. It's Delac.
Delac. DELAQ.
derelict my own balls.
Don't make
Wasn't
me
that-
delick you.
Don't make me.
Wasn't that Zoolander? Is that a
I
Zoolander
don't
joke?
know. I never saw the movie.
Derelict my own balls. Derelict your
Phil,
own
what would you
Derelict.
do?
It's
Derelict,
derelict. My
yeah.
own balls.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd probably just be like a servitor. They would lobotomize me for sure. Make me a.
You could be my servitor. You could work in my
Yeah.
shop.
You'd
my
be the
scrap
servo
shop.
skull for
yeah,
Terry.
I would be
Yeah.
a servo skull. Most
But
likely.
they'd be cool because we're gonna make it one day out of the underhive and into the floor above.
I would 1,000%
The upper spire, no way.
find
Not
my
the
way
upper
into
spire.
the Genestealer cult.
Oh yeah. Well, you don't have to. They'll find you.
That's
They
it,
will
baby.
find
They'll
you. You'll
find
hear the
you.
synapse burning in your ears.
Hey,
Yeah.
I want to know that greater being, that greater four-armed emperor.
You know, it doesn't seem like that
No.
bad of a. Honestly, it's like because then you die, right? And you're like happy when you're turning into soup.
Yeah.
Something tyrannid soup.
Well,
you're
they turn off the fucking connection once you're being eaten
Oh yeah.
Why do they do that?
because they're jerks.
It's fucking rude.
2 pages.
Just when you get near the bottom, hit the next page.
Okay.
Nick, product of television, asks, do you stick to one project / painting until completion or hop around between multiple projects?
That's a stupid question because we already answered that.
Did we? Because
No.
we have
None of us finish anything.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna finish something one day.
Terry's going to be the first one to 100% an army.
Well,
I mean,
then
honestly, if anyone.
then it never ends. Like my goal is to like get
That's not true.
120 zombies. and
That's
then
not true.
You
My
have to
chaos
go.
army is done.
Is it?
My undead Legions in the Gash army was done.
I thought you were trying to toss
My
that or
Tau army
something.
are done.
Is it?
Yeah, they're all done.
I mean, in this era. Of,
oh,
yeah.
No.
In this era of us being 30 projects a day.
Yeah.
My last war camp. My last war guy.
Yeah, my
But the
7
projects-
models.
They never end. Like I'm
No,
already
no.
like, okay, there's certain projects that I want to bring my undead army up to 2,000 points, but it's like it's not going to stop there. Then I'm going to go.
Of course not.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! What if I did
I
this?
want
and
these
I
guys."
did this, and I run it as that.
I
And
love
it's
Phil's
like, there you go.
ideology of like just you can still love an army, but you change your list every time you play. That's sick.
Exactly.
No,
Wanna
Brian
run all-
Ansel's
run all
fucking
Minotaurs?
one
Yeah.
list forever.
Oh God.
2,000
who said
points.
that?
Brian Ansel.
Who the fuck is that?
Oh, come on. Thanks for checking out this episode of Hive Scum. If you aren't already part of the community, check us out at the In Rust We Trust Discord, which you can find down in the description below. If you have any questions you'd like to ask us, you can find our Instagrams listed below or ask away over on the Discord. We also have extra content and other perks available to our patrons on Patreon, so if you're interested in a little bit extra and supporting our search for a studio and gaming hub, check out the link below. Until next time, folks, keep it grimdark and keep it grimy. Peace.